Yeah. Well, I think we better start the show. We're exactly an hour late, so that's tradition.
It's only fair.
Tradition.
It's only fair. Well, I mean, APG are used to it, aren't
Yeah.
they? So that's fine.
Anyway. Right.
We don't know what you're talking about.
No, of course not.
Rude.
How very
I'm very
dare
sorry.
you.
I'm very sorry. I'm dressed as Santa. I can say what I like. Anyway, here we go then.
No, you're restricted to one line. Ho, ho, ho.
Who are you calling a hoe?
You're listening to the Plain Talking UK podcast, the UK-based podcast written by a passenger for anyone. And here are your hosts, Carlos Stebbings, Matt Smith, and Neville Bounds.
Well, hello and welcome to episode number 196 of the Plain Talking Airline Pilot Guide Crazy Down Under Geeks Christmas Tinseltastic with Baubles Christmas special show.
Indeed.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah, yes, apparently so. Yes, absolutely.
And
you can stop laughing, honestly. He can't take me seriously.
Welcome everyone to the Christmas special. We've finally started. We're here. We're in the Barn studio this week.
We are, yes.
And well, I'll go to my left here because you can all see Nev, my illustrious co-host, Mr. Bounds. You've joined us here in the Barn studio.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it? And but we've had a few technical challenges this evening, haven't we? Just for a change.
A couple.
But it has been worth the drive over, I'm pleased to say. And welcome everybody, and thanks for tuning in.
So we've got looking after all the knobs, buttons, switches, and all the things that make funny noises. Apart from that one.
Excuse me, I have no control over Captain Al whatsoever.
So joining us obviously in the Barn studio here, keeping tabs on everything electrical and audio and visual, it is my other co-host, Matt Smith. Or shall I say, Father Christmas.
Good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever it is you're watching the show. This is very difficult. It's very difficult to get close to. Anyway, yes, hello. This is yes, it is going to be a fun show, I think.
Must have taken you ages to grow that beard, Matt.
I've been growing it since last week.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Absolutely.
That's good going.
Yeah, so at this time of year, it happens very quickly.
So by the end of the show, Matt will melt.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, absolutely.
So we have got a whole host of guest hosts joining us on tonight's show. And we're going to start off at the top of the list. And we're going to go with the first of our guest hosts on the show tonight, who's joined us from across many oceans. And it is the awesome host of the Airline Pilot Guy show. Welcome, Captain Jeff.
Hello, and Merry Christmas to everyone. Great to be here.
Thanks, Jeff. Thank you for taking time out of your busy day to join us today. I know we have.
I wasn't doing anything.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So
nothing planned.
So
nothing
polite.
planned.
Yeah,
I really had nothing else to do.
No, okay.
Literally.
Fair enough. Yeah, literally nothing else to do. Okay. Yeah.
And next on our huge list of guest hosts, he's another guest or another host of the Airline Pilot Guy show. Welcome onto the show, the King of Airbus. It's Captain Nick.
The Airline Pie Show. That's a good name. I think we ought to go with that one, Jeff. Hi, guys. Hi, everybody. Yeah, I'm out of my sick bed just for you guys. So I'm drinking hot toddies and hope we'll have a wonderful time. Thanks.
Oh, well, I heard you've been a bit under the weather, Nick, so we hope you get well soon.
That's very kind of you. I'm taking Go Around a Cylind, which I think was a big mistake.
Oh, it's got a few side effects, apparently.
Yeah, it has, actually. Yeah, it's a bit sad.
Oh, right. It doesn't make him loose of tongue, does it?
Not loose of tongue,
no. Right. Loose everywhere else.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, sorry I asked.
Okay. And moving swiftly
on. The
on.
amount of time the pre-show's taken, Nick will be knee-deep in that stuff before we even get to Nick.
By the way, who's that bloody imposter over there? I can see it. Take that beard off.
Excuse me, this is all of my own handiwork, I'll have you know. How rude.
And joining us as well on the show, we couldn't have the Christmas special without inviting the Miss World 2017.
Right. Yes.
So welcome onto the show, Dr. Steph.
Oh, thank you very much, you guys. It's so good to see you all. And Merry Christmas to everyone. Looking forward to a great show with you guys.
Loving the festive jumper, Steph.
Yeah, great.
Very nice.
Yes, closest as I could come to a ugly sweater. So I don't know, maybe I'll have to before we get started here, you can see it's got a there's like a gingerbread man in the pocket. So.
Oh, nice!
Oh, look at that!
I like it. Very good.
Wow.
Yes, absolutely.
Very festive.
For those of
very
you listening
festive.
on the audio podcast, Dr. Steph has got a gingerbread man in her pocket.
Lucky gingerbread man.
You never know when you're going to need one.
Well, that's true. Indeed, that is true.
So joining us as well from across the pond, it's the host of the Plain Crazy Down Under podcast. It's that crazy balloonatic Grant McHerron.
Balloonatic.
Hey,
how rude.
yeah, lunatic. That would be me.
Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. I hope you're all having fun. Ho, frickin' ho, and all that kind of stuff. It's beginning to sound a lot like Christmas. We just watched our first Christmas movie last night, which was Gremlins. Of course, the
Good
one
choice
on
of
Christmas Eve is going to be Die Hard because it's not really Christmas till I see Hans Gruber
Ooh.
That is
fall off
true.
Nakatomi Tower.
That is true. Yeah, no, you're quite right there.
And that was actually
See,
that was actually in one of the news feeds I saw last week, actually, and they said it was voted not a Christmas film.
It was indeed. Now, and there are many people who are on the fence on this one because I mean, it does seem to happen around Christmas time. It's always like these two are just laughing at me the whole time. They can't concentrate, and it is. I think it's a Christmas film. What does everybody else think? I think it's a Christmas film.
Well, it's set at Christmas. Well,
Totally.
actually, no, it's set at
Christmas.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Without a shadow of doubt.
Yeah, exactly.
No way.
Yeah.
No
Just like
way.
Lethal
Christmas
Weapon
says
and
it's a Christmas
Gremlins,
film.
it's a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
Not.
Oh dear.
It's not Christmas.
It beats the heck out of every other thing that I hear people
Just like
watching.
Bridge Over the
my
River
God.
Kwai, that's always on at Christmas.
Yeah, that's
And the Dam Busters. Yeah.
Right, yeah,
Sound of
okay.
Music.
Bananas, there's another one.
Yeah.
We haven't even finished the
I
introduction.
mean,
yet,
finished
and
the
it's all
introduction.
gone horribly
Moving
wrong.
swiftly on, he's he's the marvelous podcast host from the Airplane Geeks show, and he's a returning host. We'd love to have him back on the show. Welcome onto the show, Brian Coleman.
And it's associate producer, but thank you so much.
Associate.
It's great to be here. And if anyone's been listening to the show, they know that I've been 3D printing. And just for
what is
Christmas,
it?
I printed a nice 3D Christmas tree.
Oh wow! Look at that. How cool is
What, you
that?
couldn't do a green one?
No, I didn't have any green filament. I only had blue filament. So, and there's a bigger one over my shoulder. So
Well, that'll
very
make
good.
Papa Smurf happy.
Indeed.
And next, he's also a host on the Airplane Geeks podcast, and he's another returning host as well on the show we've had before as a guest. So welcome onto the show, Rob Mark.
Hey, good evening, good morning, or where everybody is. But I just have one quick question. Why is everybody else Captain something, and I have my official Captain hat on, and I'm not Captain Rob? I feel very diminished.
So welcome onto the show, Captain Rob Mark.
Excellent. Very good. Yes.
Cool. You guys do customer feedback. Hey, Merry Christmas to everybody.
Thanks for joining us,
thank you.
Rob. And also joining us, we had to have him on the Christmas special because he's very special to us all. And it's our main man, Micah.
Well, I think I'm just, the minority because I'm the only one here that really doesn't celebrate Christmas. But thank you very much for having me back. And it's really not Christmas until I get to watch A Christmas Story, which is my favorite film, that's written and hosted and produced by Gene Shepard, and that'll be coming up sometime soon.
And I'm
Thank you for having me.
loving the bag
Excuse
of
me.
joy
It looks
behind
to
you.
me like you're celebrating Christmas, Micah, with that hat you're wearing.
Well, I'm just a little flashy, I guess, today, huh?
Woohoo!
Oh.
Ba-boom.
Yeah.
And also joining us on the show this evening as well, he is the king of Harpjet and also fabulous at editing shows.
Yes, he
and
is very
he's
good at
looking
that,
forward to editing this show
Yes.
over the Christmas period. So welcome onto the show. It's Owen.
Well, that's it. That's my my Christmas, my New Year's, my first week in January gone.
Tidying up this little
Probably
mess.
into
Yes.
February.
Yeah.
Probably.
We'll see you next year, no,
Yeah, yeah,
in Christmas
absolutely.
again.
This is Christmas 2018's Christmas show. You just don't know yet.
Might well be. I don't know why you're laughing.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Thanks for joining us, Owen. And also
Thanks for
joining
having
us on tonight's show, it is the lovely pyjama-wearing Mila.
Absolutely. Hi. Merry Christmas, everybody.
How are you, Mila?
I'm wearing my blue snowflake pajamas, especially for Micah. He's enjoyed them so much.
Well, those pajamas played a very important role in Neville's birthday story.
Oh, don't bring me into this, Micah. I'm in enough trouble as it is.
Honestly, the look of panic on Nev's face right now is just absolutely incredible.
Look of shock on ours.
So I don't know quite how to put this last guest host in on the mix, but I suppose I should say we saved the best till last. Ooh. I don't know. So it gives me great pleasure to welcome onto the show the man who gives us all the editing pleasure after every show that he's on. It's Captain Al.
Hello, everyone. Well, I was going to be joined by my young sidekick, but we've spent the last year telling you how to teaching you how to tell the time. Excuse me. And he's got very confused because he thought 7:30 isn't 20 to 9. So I'm operating solo this evening. My other good sidekick, Pilot Pip, he's otherwise occupied. So you're stuck with me to bring some sort of degree of decorum to the show this evening.
Absolutely.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, well, I'm going to say a massive thanks to everyone who's joined us in the live YouTube chat room this evening. Loads and loads of names in there tonight. We've got, just to name a few, we've got First Officer Mike, Glenn Towler, Ivor McDonald, Jeff Braithwaite, we've got Jen Niffers in the chat room as well. Matt Caton is in the chat room, our IPA producer for our 200th show. We've got Richard Bell, Rick Bell, good old Rick. Hello, Rick Bell, how are you? Richard King, Shorty Crosgrove, we've got the Air Stig as well. Ooh. And Tom Thomas as well joining us in the chat room. And we've also got some interesting names in there. Main man Micah, he's joined us, and Neville Bounds has joined us in the chat room.
Never heard of either of those.
So we've got two blue spanners of death in the chat room. So
you would have had my mother in the chat room. A, she doesn't know what a chat room is, and B, we're clashing with MasterChef now. So
right, I see. Yes.
Oh, and Lane Street as well. I see him in the chat room there, chatting away. So we've got a busy chat room tonight. So thanks everyone for joining us this evening or this morning, wherever you are across the globe.
Speaking of the chat room, if I may, before we move on, as is traditional,
I've got my hand on mute, ready. Go on, Al.
Brace yourselves, everyone.
Carry on.
Yeah, there is something around my neck. Now, I'm not really in a position to monitor the chat room, but the first person in the chat room who identifies correctly what it is can have it if they want it.
It's a lanyard.
I know what it is.
Yeah, you're not in the chat room, but what lanyard is it?
It's a hangman's noose.
Right, okay, good. Anyway,
it's a purple one.
Purple?
Right. It's a sort of pre-competition competition, if you like.
Okay, right, yes, okay. With our 9 questions.
Can I have it anyway if I give you a hug?
If you kiss me around the back of the bike shed, yeah.
Okay. Right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to move on, please.
Right, so we are going to have a quick chat with
It's
Nev.
not so sloppy this time, please.
We're going to have a quick chat with Nev just briefly. Nev, you've got some updates on the 200th show coming up in January. What's been going on in the background?
Yes, lots of stuff been happening over the last week or so about the 200th show, and I'm very pleased to say it's all organised. We've got lots of people coming down, about 30 people coming down to the simulator facility in southwest London, and we have got some food organised, very importantly, for anyone that's around on the Friday night, but certainly we've got a big meet-up on the Saturday evening at the local restaurant, and they've organised everything for us, including some Plain Talking UK menus as well.
Wow, and I've seen the menu. It looks very nice now.
Yeah, isn't it?
Say.
And the good news is, for everyone who can make it, because unfortunately I can't, there will be enough food to go around.
Yeah, just as well, isn't it? But no,
I was looking forward to another nuggets eating competition. So no, huh?
But you've been really busy, Nev, haven't you? Sorting out all the various bits and pieces
yes,
to go with
lots
our
of
trip to London.
lots happening there, and no, I think it's going to be a great time actually. And the guys that run the facility down there have been really accommodating, absolutely superb. So it'll be really nice to work with those guys again.
So for those of you guys and girls who are lucky enough to be joining us on the 20th of January next year, I hope you've got your thinking caps on as to where in the world you want to fly in or out of in the simulator. I know where I want to fly in and out of for sure.
Jack.
I've done that one actually, Grant. Done that one while I was
You're going to take the 7-3 into Beccles?
Well, it could be good. I think the runway might be a little bit short for that, but yeah, could be a
Well, you've got the
possibility.
grass extension, haven't you?
Yes, yes. Probably will need all that.
You've
actually.
always used an extension, haven't you?
Right. Okay.
Anyway, moving swiftly on.
Right. Okay.
I think one of the best parts of the whole day, I think, is going to be Captain Nick flying a proper a man's aircraft there.
Oh, really?
The good old
Why
Boeing.
are you opening
Well,
this camera?
A320? Yeah, that should be all right.
All right. Okay.
Hi, Nick.
Okay,
Well,
Carlos.
I'll be the only man there in that case.
I see. Okay.
Here's the challenge for Carlos. He's
What's
got to
that?
do the Innsbruck approach.
Oh, yeah.
Down through the valley, hang a right, drop your gear as you're coming around, roll left, line up, drop it in and
God
land.
blimey.
Beautiful. Absolutely a lot of fun.
And I can confirm that before we start the news, I can confirm that Gemma is going to be there, and she's also said that she is going to have a go at the sim. So
Is she?
That'll be interesting to see my wife flying a sim.
Do you know what? I bet she's going to do it so much better than you, which is just going to be absolutely brilliant if she
No
does.
doubt about that.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Anyway, so moving
Ladies are
swiftly on.
generally better pilots in overall, according to most of the instructors I know.
No, that is
I've
true.
seen how much sweating Carlos did flying a 28, let alone a 737 round the valleys of Innsbruck.
Oh, yes, Al.
Come on, that would be awesome.
Where's the mute button for Al? Anyway.
I have the mute button,
Oh,
so
okay. Be quiet, Santa. Okay, Santa, can we start the news then?
Oh, right,
So we
okay.
are going to start the Christmas special show with some news from around the world. So if everyone's ready,
Yes, we are ready.
let's go.
Ready?
Red 5 standing by.
So kicking off this week's first news story, it's Captain Jeff.
Oh, well then I'll pull up that. Was there something that said that I was going to do the first one?
No?
Yes.
Oh, it says that in there?
Yes.
It's those dang show notes.
Yeah, if it's
well,
any
I had the
constant,
show notes. I just didn't see my name attached
Yeah,
to this one,
see-
but I'm there. narcity.com, whatever that
It's
is.
just like when they throw an NDB approach at you on a base leg, isn't it? And you go, oh yeah, I was ready for it. Yeah,
I can handle it.
Of course
I
did.
got this. Move out of the way.
coming through. Yeah.
This airline will take you around the world for a 24-hour NYE flight. The flight takes you back in time so you can celebrate New Year's Eve twice. Cancel any New Year plans you may have had up until now. There's something else going on that is undoubtedly way, way better. This is according to Jennifer Brown. If you're looking to ring in 2018 in the coolest way possible, then you're going to want to start packing your bags. One airline is taking New Year's Eve revelers around the globe on a 24-hour party in the sky. It's a celebration like no other, giving passengers the chance to celebrate the holiday twice. Yes, that's right, twice. Private Fly is offering an exclusive trip to thrill seekers who want two shots at ringing in the new year. After enjoying an evening full of celebrations in the stroke of midnight in Sydney, Australia, the airline will take partygoers back in time, literally, to enjoy it all over again. Using the world's fastest and furthest private jet, insane scheduling, and a tight airport turnaround, Private Fly will then take you on board your own private jet and fly you to Hawaii to ring in 2018 for a second time. Sounds like the ultimate party, right? If you happen to have an extra $290,000 US, the cost of the whole aircraft charter, hanging around it could be, but don't have that much in your bank account? Don't worry. The airline also offers a budget option at only $22,300 per person. That's right, just $22,300.
Do they offer that in installment payments? Can I pay them $9.99?
Hey,
a pound
if you
a
have
week,
to do an
yeah.
installment, Steph, you can't afford this kind of luxury flight.
I
Come
don't
on.
think they're trying hard enough. You could actually get 3 New Year's Eves in with one flight. Because what you do is you start the New Year's Eve in Tweed Heads, just at the north end of New South Wales, where they have daylight saving, and you see in the new year.
Do they have an
Then you
airport?
go across. Yes, they do. Gold Coast International Airport is just up about half an hour's drive, if that, from where you'd be partying. So you see in, so basically you see in the, you see it in Queensland, then you go across the border, see it in New South Wales, go up to the Gold Coast, get on your G650, and then you fly to Hawaii and you get the third one. Because it's
But
really
wouldn't
not
it be
that far of
better-
a flight.
Really, wouldn't it be better just to get on a flight and fly around the world and just have it constantly be New Year's the entire 24 hours?
There is actually an island that gets it first, then there's New Zealand, then there's Australia where there's 2, and then you jump and go back across the date line, and you've got just enough time, if you do it right, that you would have about half an hour before it's New Year's Eve again in Hawaii.
Well, hang on a minute. If you time it right, the clocks change 1 hour every 15 degrees. You just need to fly around the globe, crossing 15 degrees every hour, and you can have as many New Year's as you like, up to 24 hours.
You'd need a nice 747 for that, because you'd need
a nice 747. There are none of those left.
Or an A380.
Nice 380. Yeah, that would work.
How about you just go to the North Pole or to the South Pole and you celebrate there?
There you go.
Yeah, you see, now this is where you need a lady on the show.
Yeah.
You see, what you need is a bit of common sense. So you see, both Mila and Dr. Steph. You see, these are our voices of reason this evening.
I know.
Yeah, absolutely.
What you actually need is a mince pie, and I have one.
Ah, look at that.
A New Year's Eve mince pie? Nah, I think that's probably Christmas.
I must say, Josh is looking very festive also. I have to say I'm suitably impressed.
So is Al.
Is madly cooking up a whole lot downstairs at the moment, actually.
So may I ask how many pilots on the show tonight are actually working or flying on New Year's Eve?
Not I.
Nope.
Not I.
Yeah.
I was thinking of doing a New Year's morning dawn flight to see in the day, take a balloon up and watch daylight break over the town.
Oh, that'd be lovely.
Steph, fancy jumping out of an aircraft on New Year's Eve? Or?
It's a Sunday. Well, Sunday it could work only until it'll be too cold after dark. But yeah.
Oh,
you could always put some lights on. Borrow Micah's lights and jump out.
Well, that's true. You'll be able to you'll be able to see into space. I think with those lights.
Perfect.
Yes.
Right, so we're going to move on.
We need to be careful that aeroplanes don't land on Micah's head, thinking that it's actually an airport, don't we?
Right, okay. It's all right.
I do have the blue and the red.
He's indoors. It's fine. It's all good.
So the next story then is for Captain Nick to take for this one.
Oh, this is my favourite other airline. British Airways waves its magic wand for all customers at Christmas. Well, this is marvellous. This is a press release, so you can just imagine there's going to be no bias here whatsoever.
Right. Okay.
Christmas has come early at British Airways as it offers customers the chance to fly in first class for super low prices. For a limited time only, lucky flyers will be able to purchase a ticket from the airline's exclusive first cabin from just £200 asterisk. Scroll to the bottom of the page. 2,000 plus fees, plus airport tax, plus red carpet tax, everything else. £200 more than each way than a Club World. So you've got to have a business ticket, and then for 200 quid they'll upgrade you to first, because no one wants to actually pay to go there anymore. The ticket is on the majority of the routes across the Atlantic, with the incredible festive offer: first class flights to Philadelphia. Who goes there? Cost just £1,790 a return. Well, there you go.
Oh, steady.
Oh, steady.
Oh, steady.
Nurse the screens.
Oh, dear.
Considering it's probably not a bad deal if all of the other decent airlines are booked up. You can probably take that option.
You probably can.
And the problem is, if you do that from the U.S., it means you have to return to Philadelphia. Jeez.
Oh, God, yeah, exactly. So lucky travellers will benefit from access to the new first wing. They've got a second wing, perhaps, I don't know. They've got a first wing at Heathrow, the Concorde Room, with complimentary concierge services and spa, a roomy private flatbed 6-foot seat.
24/7 supermarket in there that sells everything you need for everything.
Yeah, and for the American listeners, are there any American listeners? It's like a
7-Eleven.
7-Eleven, yeah. So it's got a 6-foot flatbed seat. Well, I'm 6'3", so that's pretty useless, isn't it? With luxurious bedding.
You won't be needing the slippers, will you? Because they won't fit.
No, that's exactly right. An intimate cabin an intimate cabin, but you'll be there on your own, so you'll have to be intimate with
cabin
yourself.
Experience or just an intimate cabin?
No, it just says an intimate cabin.
Right.
With just a few seats. World-class wines. Well, we can all wine. I can wine with the best of them. I'm a pretty good whiner, but I'm not world-class.
Noticed.
And an a la carte menu. The offer which allows Brits to sample a taste of the high life, because we can't get it at home with Brexit coming, is part of the airline's winter sale, which also sees the airline dropping prices by up to 20% in World Traveller, World Traveller Plus, Club World, Club You Round the Head, and Club Europe. Adam Daniels, British Airways Chief Commercial Officer, said, "This year we've decided to offer our customers a gift that even Santa would be proud of." Pause for effect. With seats in first class from now this is why they suggested you should go to, where was that place? Philadelphia.
Philadelphia, yeah.
That's the cheapest seat they do. So, probably.
Do you know what W.C. Fields is alleged to have on his headstone about Philadelphia? On his headstone, W.C. Fields, it says, "Better here than Philadelphia."
I love it.
Why don't we like Philadelphia?
I hate it that it's horrible on toast or bread.
I like Philadelphia.
Yeah, well, the important thing is, how is the airport? Because I was thinking maybe fly through there to go to somewhere else in the U.S.
Well, it's not one of the ones on the list in one of the last stories we have. So,
I think we do have to ask, obviously, the BA specialist on the show, who's sitting next to me here. Any thoughts on this, Nev?
I think they're a bit desperate, actually. I think they need to get some more bums on seats, and that's the problem they've had for a while, is filling the premium cabins, because they're not, obviously a lot of people don't make any money on the coach and the economy seats, so they've got to be up in the business or the first class.
Oh, right. Well, there we are.
Is that rugger, Nick, or?
No, it's not from my end.
Oh, right, okay.
It's from ours.
That's Josh doing his ho 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 impersonation.
That's very good.
Oh, right, okay.
Ho ho ho. Yes. That's very good. Do that again. Yes.
Want to do it again?
Very good. Thank you, Josh. Excellent.
Don't set Simba off.
Yeah.
Is it all right if I ask Josh what his favourite flying experience of 2017 was, by the way, just before he goes to bed?
Do indeed. Yes.
So, what was your favourite flying experience of this year then, Josh?
When we went in the little aeroplane.
Oh, when you came up in the Cherokee with Daddy and we flew around Pembrokeshire?
Yeah.
All right, you enjoyed that, did you?
Yeah.
All right, do you think you'd like to go again?
Yeah!
Excellent.
Very cool. Very cool.
Young pilot in the making.
Right, Josh.
Young pilot in the making.
What was not heard in that was Josh saying, "Now, Daddy, where's the money you owe me?"
He's been looking forward to saying about his favourite aviation experience of the year on the show, so I did agree to him doing that.
No, not at all.
I'm very
Yeah,
grateful to letting him have the time on your fantastic show. I received no.
That's okay. That's okay, Al.
Yes.
Well done. It's always great to take the kids up for a fly. I know Nikolai loved his first flight in a Warrior.
Wow.
I just wish I could find the photo I got of him looking out the window. But yeah, it's a great thing. Take kids up early. Get them early, get them hooked.
Too true.
They'll never spend money on drugs again, right?
True.
Well, that's right. The only downside, unfortunately, is you get them hooked, and then you get round about when they're about 17 or 18, they go, "Dad, I want to be an airline pilot." No!
Military son.
Being a doctor and doing a proper job.
Yeah.
Would you like a low-cost loan at your convenience?
I solved that one really early as we were going around airports and air shows. I said, "Oh, Nico, this Mustang is owned by a doctor. That Beechcraft is actually owned by a guy who runs his own maintenance shop, all this kind of stuff," and let him realise that, and that aircraft over there is owned by an airline pilot. He only just bought it now after 20 years.
Owned by a corporate lawyer.
Yeah, and that was it. And I think he's realised early on that he needs to get a good, well-paying job to be able to fund his flying habit.
Right. Well, yeah, there is that.
So do the general consensus is that I'm a little bit out of order in going around routinely telling my son that he's actually colourblind when he's not?
Right. Yes, there are some questions.
You are.
Okay, good.
Poor boy. Anyway, moving on. Dr. Steph.
No.
The next story.
No. We have some feedback first.
We have some feedback. Sorry
about that. Yes, no. You're next.
That was my ploy to see if I read the show notes.
I do. See, he said I do read the show notes every single week. I just don't like him to know that I read the show notes.
So Matt, we've got some feedback.
We have indeed. Yes. So we've got our first
section now.
No, it's not the military section. It's all right. You can stay awake, Al. It's fine. So we've been very lucky in the fact that lots of our listeners have sent us some feedback, and this is our first batch of 3.
Hello, Carlos, Matt, and Nev. This is David Abbey from New York, just saying thanks for all you do in producing a fine aviation podcast that is Plain Talking UK. And Matt, it was great meeting you and Owen in New York this year. Hope one day to meet Carlos and Nev as well. And have a great holiday season and New Year, and an anticipated congratulations on the upcoming 200th episode. Keep up the great work, and thanks again. Take care.
Hey there, Matt, Carlos, and Neville, and to the rest of the Plain Talking UK community out there. Ray from Sydney, Australia here. Just wanted to take this opportunity in wishing you all a very Merry Christmas and a very happy and safe 2018. And he's hoping for another exciting year of episodes for Plain Talking UK. So, as you can see from behind me and what I'm wearing now, I'm currently at work. I've actually got a 777 flying over me at the moment, as you can see. So, very apt message. But anyway, all the best and take care. Catch you all on the flip side. See ya.
Hello, Carlos, Matt, and Neville, and all the PTUK listeners. This is Asha in the Netherlands, wishing you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And wishing you all many air shows and meetups in 2018. Fijne feestdagen!
That was nice.
Indeed, yes. So we're going to actually intersperse, because we've got lots of messages, we're going to intersperse them throughout the show rather than doing it as a sort of one big massive hit.
We do have some awesome listeners.
We do indeed. Anyway, on to the next story then. Dr. Steph, please.
All right. So this is from the lonelyplanet.com, and it says one airline is encouraging passengers to pilfer its salt and pepper shakers.
What?
I wonder which airline this could be. While airlines would naturally prefer if passengers refrained from stealing onboard items, Virgin Atlantic is making an exception over the Christmas period by actively encouraging the, quote, theft of the salt and pepper shakers in its upper class cabins. The shakers, named Wilbur and Orville, very clever, are festive red versions of the airline's highly collectible silver and black shakers, which are shaped like mini planes. They will be available on board flights from the 21st to 26th of December, and Virgin is encouraging customers to pinch them and take them home to take pride of place on the Christmas dinner table, or else gift them to an aviation enthusiast relative.
Or put them on eBay.
Or put them on eBay. That's probably the wise thing to do. You'll make more money that way.
How much can I get for these things?
About £5, I reckon.
He's
sold.
Nice.
So,
Do you remember
the sweet
when
shakers,
they were actually metal opposed to plastic?
You're Skyping out, old chap. Try again in English.
I said, do you remember when the salt and pepper on Virgin Atlantic flights were metal rather than plastic?
Yeah, but we killed too many passengers throwing them at them.
Right,
So
okay, fair enough. I've got one of those metal sets.
Do you? Yeah, the metal ones were very smart, very nice. But they got stolen too quickly.
Yes. Well, in case you forget where they came from, it does say pinched from Virgin Atlantic on their feet.
What did you do with your set of metal ones, Nick?
Well, I'm going to send some... my metal ones, no, I'm keeping those. I'm going to send Liz a set, though, of the modern ones, if I can get hold of some.
Oh, very good.
If you have an early set, they don't have pinched from Virgin Atlantic on the bottom. That was something that they put as an add-on when they realised that they were losing.
They're being
earnings.
stolen.
Had I been part of the airline, I would have known that.
Right. I've just had a quick look on to the E of Bay, and there are some on eBay actually, the red ones that are shown in this story, and they are currently on eBay, and they've had 5 bids already for a set of the salt and pepper pots, £32.
Oh wow, that's
yes, in dollars, but yeah, £32. They're on eBay right now.
Right.
Oh,
okay.
there you go.
There we go.
And they only were available as of today, apparently. So.
Wow, that is efficiency
So
right there.
We all going to need to go and book Virgin Upper Class for about, I don't know what would be, about £1,500 return or something to New York, and then we can make £32 out of it. That's not bad going.
Yeah, that's good.
Deal.
Excellent.
Yeah,
That's
sounds
good.
like a good deal.
No. Al, you go
pilot
to
investment.
every
You
single
get it
seat
either
and
way.
get them all. You got to go and get everyone else's, and then you make 32 by however many you've been able to steal. Therefore,
Well, like when you sometimes
quite
see
more offset.
people who are quite sort of slow getting off the aeroplane, and the only reason they're slow getting off is they can rifle all of the amenity kits into their bag as they get off.
Yeah.
Well, indeed.
Hey, so if you do happen to take a flight on Virgin Atlantic in upper class and come across a set of these salt and pepper shakers, they're also encouraging you to share pictures of your stolen salt and pepper shakers on Twitter and use the hashtag #PinchedFrom. So there you go.
Right.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Excellent.
They might be saying that with the monitors, the life jackets, the safety cards, and the curator book on, will they?
Always guaranteed.
Just build your own plane.
Does that mean I've got to hand back the blanket that I took earlier?
Probably, yes,
Oh,
absolutely.
damn.
Yeah. Or stick it on eBay.
No. I love my blanket, my Virgin blanket.
Can I just say, I love Brian's hat. I know we saw it last year as well, the Snoopy hat.
Hey, Snoopy.
I absolutely love the Snoopy hat. It says
Snoopy. I thought it said floppy on it.
No, it doesn't. Family. Indeed.
Anyway, so
story number 4. Help.
Moving swiftly on. So the
No,
next
wait.
story.
I'm sorry.
Counter over
Before
in
we
the
move
UK
on,
for
though,
that
the salt and pepper shakers on United are in the shape of, well, they say their logo, but to me they look like the Death Star from Star Wars, and they are stolen left, right, and center on all those flights as well. So.
There we go. More we don't obviously promote stealing
No,
of
of
stuff
course not.
off
Absolutely.
aircraft on the show.
No.
But yeah.
Indeed. Okay. I'm not
Send
sure
them
what
in.
message we take from this. So some airlines
In that
say
case, I won't show you mine.
No, indeed. Some airlines say it's okay to steal stuff.
Yeah.
Some airlines say no, please don't. Virgin Atlantic apparently is saying yes, please do steal our stuff.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, it's those 2 bits.
So, Mr. McHerron, your story is next.
Okay, and my apologies to Glenn and all the others in the from New Zealand who are listening to the show. I haven't lived there for a very long time, but I'm loving the duck call.
Where's
Yes,
that
going to bed, weren't they? Yes, going to bed. Yeah. Okay, here we go. This is from newshub.co.nz.
Anyone got a gun?
Careful, you may shoot him.
Well, that was Jeff.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you
The
were saying,
jocularity, the jocularity.
so you were saying, Mr. McHerron.
I shouldn't have had that beer 7.5 years ago, should I really?
It was a good idea at the time, right?
Okay.
From newshub.co.nz. Merry Christmas! Air New Zealand's hilariously Kiwi Christmas ad. The Kiwi accent is causing Santa Claus some serious issues in Air New Zealand's latest Christmas commercial. New Zealand's characteristic twang trips him up when taking present orders from Kiwi children, and it comes with entertaining consequences. The requests come across as rather unusual to Santa, but he nonetheless forwards the kids' gift requests onto his elves with puggy banks, aka piggy banks, a book of magic trucks, aka tricks, and biscuit balls, aka basketballs, all being made in its North Pole factory. The elves pick up that something is wrong, however, and they soon realise that, like in previous years, they've let the Kiwi accent trip them up. Air New Zealand staff are then called in to help. The carrier's chief marketing officer, Mike Todd, says the airline wanted to commemorate Christmas in a way that was distinctly Kiwi. While it's no secret the Kiwi accent has been misunderstood at times, it's also a signature part of our service, he said.
We wanted to celebrate the festive season and the Kiwi accent in a humorous and uniquely Air New Zealand way. They certainly did. If you've seen it, it's very rich.
Yeah, indeed. In fact, actually, Grant, what we're going to do is we're going to play that video for you now. So if you haven't seen it, this is your opportunity. I do actually have permission from New Zealand to play this. So here we go. This is the advert that Grant is talking about.
Mewan Teelingling. Yauting Mamatua. A teddy bear for Ling Ling from Shanghai.
Oh. You're good. Really good. I mean, that was...
Hello, Santa speaking.
Hi, Santa. It's Edom.
Hello, Edim. And what would you like for Christmas?
I want a new beard.
Just to get this clear, you'd like a new beard. Okay, Edim. Remember to be nice. A new beard for Edim. Santa speaking. A puggy bank. Right, Tum. A puggy bank for Tum from Tumaroo. Santa speaking. Hello, Bin. A biscuit ball for Bin. A what sort of plane? An earplane for Windy. Huh? A book of magic trucks. Sounds like a good read. A bug screen TV.
All right. What the father Christmas is going on here? Kids want bikes and tents and fidget spinners. Not airplanes.
Oh, it's happened again. I know who can help.
Kia ora.
We seem to be having some trouble with the Kiwi accent.
Understanding Kiwi is easy as. A's are E's, E's are I's, I's are U's, and O's are O's. O's are always O's, and U's are usually U's, but U's could also mean like all of U's. Like, how come U's don't understand what I'm saying?
So it's not a bug screen TV.
Basketball, not biscuitball.
And piggy bank, not puggy bank.
Book of magic tricks, not book of magic trucks.
Well, I'd never.
Maybe we'll take care of the calls and these presents. Do you mind if I take this home? It's growing on me.
That is one of the most interesting ads I've seen for a long while.
And like I said, guys, it's rich, thick, and creamy, cuz. Because your beach does, bro.
I'll tell
you.
you.
Don't eat plankton.
I'm going to ask Gemma for a bug screen TV.
A bug screen TV, I think that is the answer. Yes, absolutely.
That'll work.
So yes, thank you to Air New Zealand for letting us play that out. It's a nice humorous take on the festive.
You like that, Nev?
Great, wasn't it? Yeah, first time I've seen that.
Are you going to get a puggy bank?
Yes.
Good.
Yes, everybody needs a puggy bank. Absolutely.
Well, actually, I've got one of the ladies I work with is completely pug mad.
Having the common sense to answer you in a fairly sort of prompt fashion about such a request, because sometimes when you talk to these corporate bodies, it's like as if you're banging your head against a brick wall and actually publicising the body, but you know, sometimes they can make it very difficult. So well done, Air New Zealand, all around, I'd say.
Yeah, absolutely, indeed. Yeah, it's as I say, it's all a bit of good, clean, harmless fun. So we're going to move straight on to another piece.
Brian
of
Coleman,
feed.
yours.
No,
next
we're going to move on to another piece.
We've
of
got some more feedback.
You know those show notes that you keep throwing at me. Well, I'm going to start. I'm going to keep reading them, even if you want me not.
You're normally the first to complain when people don't bother reading them. I mean, this is appalling behaviour on what is supposed to be your finest hour.
Absolutely.
Voiced by his own
That's it, Al. You bring some decency
Yeah,
into the show.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
I know, I'm shocked.
Absolutely.
Anyway.
Okay,
Al isn't reading the show notes. El's bringing decency in. What the hell's happening,
What's
folks?
going on? It's all gone horribly wrong.
So we've got some feedback. Who we got some feedback from, Matt?
So this time it's Graham Haley and Mark Harvey.
Hello everybody, Graham Haley here from the UK, wishing you all behind the microphones and in front of the speakers a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, full of great podcasts from the people you're listening to now.
Graham out.
Hi Carlos, Matt, Nev and everyone, it's Mark Harvey. I just want to say thanks for a great year of Plain Talking UK. Really been enjoying the shows. It's been great being able to get a little bit involved in the show. Fantastic joining in the chat room on the live broadcasts, making some great friends. It's a real family show, a real family feel to it, and really enjoy it. This time of year, I just want to say Merry Christmas to everyone. Hope everyone has a fantastic holiday season, and looking forward to everything that's coming up in 2018. Merry Christmas.
Thanks, guys.
Very good.
Very good. Very good.
Okay,
Nice,
right.
isn't
Now I can't remember who was next.
I've lost my place now. Here we go.
I think you
Bring
said
up the show notes. It's Brian Coleman next.
I think it's supposed to be me.
Yeah.
Family show, ladies and gentlemen. Family show.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Matt.
I did that without moving my lips.
I know.
Wow. It's brilliant.
Wow.
Wow.
So,
Okay.
Brian, you've got a bit of a foodie story, because we do like a bit of food on this show.
Oh, no, that you'll start the
Yeah, it
emails again.
seemed to talk about food a fair bit, and this is from India Blooms. It says Jet Airways offer guests Christmas special treats on select flights from Mumbai, Delhi to London Heathrow. The airline will celebrate Christmas aboard its select flights. Why, if you're going to do it, why not all flights? Why just select flights? But select flights from Mumbai and Delhi to London Heathrow. The Christmas offering for the season have been specially chosen by Jet Airways chefs from amongst numerous options on offer. Good thing the chefs did the selection here, although I think maybe the passengers or flight attendants might have wanted to do this. Starting December 15th until December 31st, all first class and premier guests will have the opportunity to savor a vast and varied menu that includes carefully curated delicacies such as roast chicken, roast potato barrel, spinach tart, and Yule log. Now, I actually had to look up what roast potato barrel is, because I thought, why would you want to eat a barrel of potatoes? That just seems weird. And then isn't a Yule log something you put on the fireplace and not a dessert type item?
No, Yule log is something that you normally do sort of kind of later on Christmas Day, when the whole of the Christmas turkey's
night.
worked its way through the system.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's like a cake.
Yeah, we call them Swiss logs, don't we?
We call them Yule log at my house.
Or Yule log. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, whatever. But then chicken, shouldn't they be serving turkey?
First, they have to find somebody.
Don't you get chicken
That
on
would
every
be on
flight?
Turkish Air, Brian.
Oh, no.
Don't put a politician on the menu.
Thank you. So guests traveling in economy will be served, again, roast chicken on Christmas Eve until the end of the year.
That's convenient.
Yeah, again, isn't this something they do every day? Why is this something special? I didn't get that. Anyway, according to Jay Raja's somebody or other, Executive Vice President, Product and Services, Jet Airways, said, as India's favorite airline, we have always been committed to creating exceptional onboard flight experiences for our guests, and food is one of the quintessential favorites that evoke pleasing memories for all our guests. We are confident that our recommended selections for Christmas will strongly appeal to our guests, making their travel with us even more unique and memorable. So I guess good job for them for trying. To me, though, just without turkey and cranberry and all the other fixings that at least I was used to having at Christmas, this doesn't seem very special to me.
Sorry, Steph, are we keeping you up?
No, that cat that was previously on Captain Nick's video feed there. Contagious yawns, believe it or not. I'm not tired at all. Just watching that cat yawn, I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to yawn. I have to yawn. And then the more I tried not to yawn, the worse it
I've
got.
actually sussed this out, Brian. I've got this worked out. I can see where the marketing magic goes here, because the majority of the sort of Western Christian world will be sitting down to eat turkey. However, there is now an outlet to eat chicken and fly somewhere at the same time. Now that's clever marketing, you've got to admit.
I thought it was goose that everybody eats at Christmas.
You right there, man?
Could be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I've never had goose.
I thought it was turkey. It's turkey here usually, isn't it?
Well, yeah,
they're much harder to chase down the country lanes than, you know, turkeys and pheasants and stuff. So I mean, you're lucky if you get a goose.
Well, that's
Ham.
like
Do
it
any
when
of
I
you
get
guys
a
have
goose, but
ham
that's something else.
at Christmas?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
we have ham.
yeah, Boxing
roast
Day ham.
beast, like in
And
The
it's not-
Grinch.
We have ham, and it's not just my jokes.
That's worthy of a.
Yeah, it
There
is
we go.
indeed.
We tend to have
by the
whatever
way-
vocal becomes available on the run up to Christmas, really.
Yeah, well, true.
I think
true.
looks like Nick's running his screensaver of photos through the system, and some of them are quite interesting.
Are they?
Hold on. Did you say they're quite interesting? Do I need to hit this button?
Those private
Used to
photos
be
are
when you
supposed
give
to be
somebody a
off.
goose for Christmas, you'd be thanked for it. But now, if you give somebody a goose for Christmas, you get fired.
Yeah, very true.
Well, you know, it's different times, Micah. Different times.
Nev, has Matt killed Father Christmas's aircraft?
Yeah, we've had a bit of a situation.
We have had an issue in the
Beard has
PTUK
interfered
studio.
with the prop. And so I'm having to make some running repairs here.
dear.
So
I didn't even feel it.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
Matt's beard
I
has
didn't even feel it.
Matt's beard has been trapped
That's what my wife says.
in the prop of the single-engined Santa,
Santa
aircraft.
Does this mean the children won't get their toys now?
They won't know, Matt. I'm
no.
sorry,
and
you've
I'm
ruined.
not qualified
If you've got an aircraft
engineer
engineer.
either. So yeah.
Medic!
I
we get on.
think we should definitely move on to our next storyteller, which is Rob Mark.
Ah, very good.
Wake up, Rob.
That's when I read the story now, right?
Yeah, that's the one. Yes, yes.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. This is the one about toys for tots to make Christmas a little brighter for the kids in Puerto Rico, where, of course, the hurricane has run amok through there. I think most of the island still doesn't have power.
Wow.
But this one comes out of Fort Worth, out of the Digital Journal. And it says the U.S. Marine Corps Reserve Toys for Tots program, Hasbro Inc., which is a toy company here in the States, Signature Flight Support, and Hillwood Airways, a Perot company and private charter airline, are collaborating to deliver 30,000 toys and games to families in need in Puerto Rico this week, just in time for the holidays. The Hillwood Airways cargo airplane filled with Hasbro toys and games is going to depart for its first flight the morning of Wednesday, December 20th. Oh, we missed it. All right. From the Fort Worth Alliance Airport in outside of Dallas, and arrived that evening at the, I hope someone else speaks Spanish, Luis Munoz Marin International Airport.
Said like a professional, Rob.
That's very good, yeah.
Is that pretty good?
Nice try.
Oh, yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
You can order a Chinese takeaway for me anytime.
Actually, you're making me hungry. Milo, eat that orange or whatever. Okay, anyway. All the toys and games are going to be unloaded before the plane departs to Miami to pick up more toys and games, and then embarks on a second flight back to Puerto Rico. Back to Puerto Rico? Okay, back to
Puerto Rico.
On Thursday. Oh, it's today. Toys for Tots Marines and volunteers will be on the ground to receive the toys and the games and then distribute to nonprofit organizations throughout Puerto Rico in time for Christmas on December 25th and Three Kings Day on January 6th, which I've never heard of before.
Hey, Rob, the reason why they have to go back and do the trip again is their first trip they had all electric games, and since they don't have electricity on the island, they had to go back for non-electric ones.
Right.
Oh, so they were going to go back for the batteries.
Sounds about right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So with Puerto Rico still recovering from the hurricane devastation, we knew there would be an even greater need for gifts this year. First, Hasbro stepped up to donate toys and games, and then Hillwood Airways stepped up to donate cargo airplanes for transport. We're so grateful to both organizations for helping to fulfill the holiday dreams and hopes of so many kids this year, said Lieutenant General H.P. Osman, U.S. Marine Corps, retired, President and CEO, Marine Toys for Tots Foundation. Okay. Next, a corporate partner for more than 20 years, Hasbro's helped deliver more than 3.5 million toys and games nationwide to Toys for Tots. And this year, 1.3 million of them are being donated to Toys and Tots through Be Fearless, Be Kind, Hasbro's signature philanthropic initiative designed to empower kids to have the compassion and the courage to stand up for others, to be inclusive, and to make a difference in the world. This donation to Puerto Rico is the result of the Kindness Rising campaign. You can tell I didn't read this through before we started. Rising campaign that called on kids to take there's a lot of interesting phrases here. The Be Fearless.
You've got no excuses.
Rob, you need to remember
American for you.
Yeah.
Rob, you need to remember you don't have Matt's flight to edit this out and fix it. So, you got to get it right the first time.
Fearless Be Kind pledge. Mike has already been trying to get me to do. But for every pledge made, Hasbro matched it with a toy and a donation to Toys for Tots. And oh my goodness, this goes on. In past years, the Marine Toys for Tots Foundation struggled to find cost-efficient means of transportation to augment the Puerto Rico Toys for Tots campaign. Hillwood Airways reached out to the Toys for Tots group this year to help offer help this holiday season, and ultimately donated a cargo plane for the flights to Puerto Rico. So Hillwood Airways also secured the assistance of Signature Flight Support. For those of you that aren't here in the States, the largest FBO chain here in the States.
You fly out of there in Chicago, don't you?
Yeah, well, no, actually, they're based in Orlando.
I thought your aircraft was based at Signature. Anyhow, sorry, sidetracking.
Don't distract. I'm having enough trouble here. Come on.
Senior moment.
Focus.
Senior
Focus.
moment.
You can do it. Come on. Just that last little push. You can make it. Come on. We're all egging you on. We're with you.
Said Ross Perot Jr. I remember when we thought Ross Perot would be an awful president. Okay, but
I'm Ross and I'm the boss.
I'm very thankful to be able to make a difference for the families and children in Puerto Rico in hopes of making the season a little brighter. Through the generosity of individuals, organizations, and businesses, combined with a dedicated core of over 35,000 volunteers around the country, Toys for Tots plays an active role in creating a more inclusive world and inspiring others to make a difference in their community. With the holiday season rapidly approaching, families who struggle to make ends meet seek additional support to provide their children with a little joy during the year. Families or volunteers who have been impacted by Toys for Tots over the years are encouraged to share their stories at stories.toysfortots.org. This is Captain Rob signing off.
Very good.
It's a good news story. Well done, Rob.
Excellent rendition.
Yes, indeed.
I think it's about time, isn't it, Nev? We had a good news aviation story.
We need one.
We need one, don't we?
Yeah, absolutely.
Indeed. On the subject of good news, it's more feedback time.
Ooh.
Indeed. And this time, it's from a very, very lovely and, I think, generous lady. So it's time to welcome the lovely Liz Piper.
Hi, Carlos, Matt, Nev, and all the other special guests I'm sure are there with you to celebrate on the special show. I wanted to take this opportunity to thank so many of you for the most amazing year I've just experienced. It all started with the best birthday gift an APG fan could ever wish for, when Captain Jeff had a layover here in Toronto, and we met for brunch on my birthday in early March. What a thrill to meet him in person. Thanks so much, Jeff. Sadly, it appears the Mad Dogs no longer head to Toronto, so I feel fortunate that we had the chance to meet. Then in May, wings over Pittsburgh. Nev flew his beloved British Airways to Toronto, and he and I drove down to Pittsburgh together for an amazing weekend. The air show itself was just great, but even better was the chance to meet so many aviation fans. I'm sure I'll miss some names, sorry, but it was just a complete thrill for me to meet Dr. Steph, Carlos, Matt, Captain Al, Micah, the Airplane Geeks, Hillel, Stephen Ivy, and John Brown, those last three flew their own aircraft to the show, Miami Hick, Jennifer, First Officer Craig and his lovely fiancée Ashley, Fred from San Francisco, and so many more. Such great memories. Thanks so much to Rick Bell for all his hard work on the show and getting us all there. It was amazing. At the end of June, I flew from Toronto to Heathrow thanks to a most wonderful invitation from Captain Nick's lovely wife, Jilly. She and I are avid tennis fans, and she was kind enough to ask me to accompany her to Wimbledon, a dream for anyone. Over and above that, Jilly and Nick asked me to stay with them, and then organized a wonderful barbecue at their home while I was there. On a perfect English summer day, Nev and Sue, Adam and Louise Spink and their dog Betty, Stuart and Nina Aslett and their adorable little boy Alfie, Nick, Jilly, and I enjoyed an afternoon of super conversation, yummy food and drink. Thank you to so much to everyone. It was wonderful to meet you all. After my stay with Nick and Jilly, Nev and Sue took over. Nev picked me up at the Andersons and drove me home to his place. He and Sue could not have been more hospitable. Nev took 3 days off from a very busy work schedule to show me the sights, and on my last day he not only drove me to Heathrow, but came in and made sure I navigated my way through the airport. Thank you to all my new UK friends for the most amazing week. As those of you who listen to Nev's great passenger experience segments will already know, my trip home was a real treat as I was upgraded into business class, the perfect end to a perfect week. I thought my aviation encounters would be over for the year at that point, but no. First Officer Craig had a layover in Toronto in late November, and we got together for a meal and a lovely visit. Thanks so much, Craig. On top of all that, I had 2 other trips. Toronto to New York for a few days via Porter Airlines Q400s out of Toronto City Centre Airport, and a week in Florida via Air Canada Rouge. So as you can see, 2017 was very good to me. On top of all that, I have my twice weekly dates with the chat rooms for the live recordings of both APG and PTUK. Thank you for all the information, and even better, the fun I've had there. If you haven't been to the live chat, I highly encourage you try and make some time. It's wonderful. So Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and here's to a happy aviation-filled 2018 to you all. Thanks to all the podcast hosts and guests for your hard work. It's very much appreciated. Bye from Toronto.
Yay, nice one, Liz.
That was
well
lovely,
done, Liz.
wasn't it?
Good.
Awesome, Liz.
Yeah.
Bless her, that was so good.
And actually, Liz is she's just actually off. I think she's now off to do something or other. She's just leaving. Yeah, she's a lot of love for Liz in the chat room, I will just say.
Very much
yeah,
so.
Everyone loved that. So well done, Liz.
Well, no, thanks. Yeah, that was great. It's honestly, it has. I'll tell you what. Actually, as far as meetups and things go, the last couple of years have been really quite amazing. What with Farnborough and things the year before, and then obviously this year where we all went off to Pittsburgh and things, and that was
Duxford.
And Duxford, yeah.
Oh, and Duxford, of course, yes.
That was the best one.
That was, yeah. Well, of course, because you were there, Milo.
I know,
obviously, that's
Milo was
why.
there.
Yeah, absolutely. This is it. It was really good, actually. It's been a really good year, hasn't it? Really, as far as
I'm just saying. Could I just say I'm finding this really disconcerting because I can hear noise coming out from you, Matt, but your lips aren't actually moving at all.
That's all right. It's a bit like the audio sync issues we have sometimes in the video. It's fine. Nobody will notice.
I've just noticed that actually, Dad. Yeah, it's really weird.
I don't know what all the fuss is about,
guys. It's now an appropriate time to do a little announcement, or is it inappropriate?
Al, when you're talking, it's always inappropriate.
I've got my hand on the mute button.
Yes, indeed. Yes, announce away, sir.
Okay. Well, I received a message earlier on today, so this is fairly much sort of hot off the press news. Now, for those of you who've been to Duxford, you may well have seen that my former airline that is no longer in existence, Monarch Airlines, had a Bristol Britannia on display there.
Yeah.
And in fact, it had been at Duxford since 1975, but was actually rented to Duxford. And of course, since the collapse of Monarch Airlines on the 2nd of October, its status, its position at Duxford was somewhat up in the balance.
Oh, really?
There was some concern that the owners were going to actually say, well, we want to scrap it for its material value, because, of course, the administrators have a duty to try to secure any money that they can for their creditors. So I received a message today saying that earlier this morning, contracts have been signed between the relevant parties, that Victor Tango, which is the aircraft registration, and all the memorabilia that has been salvaged from Monarch's head office are now property of the Duxford Aviation Society, and therefore it will all stay at Duxford for people to see for many, many years to come.
Fantastic.
So that's a good news story, I think, out of a bad news
It
story.
is.
Correct answer to it.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah,
superb.
and it's a great thing. It is a love. I mean, there's so many things at Duxford, obviously, which it is like stepping back in time. Obviously, that's what they like to go, like to do there. But actually, that's and the Monarch aircraft is a very integral part of that sort of static display when you are there.
Yeah.
It's brilliant. So no, thanks for that, Al. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So I just put a mention out for one of my former colleagues, Myrna, and her friends who are the volunteers there. I've spent the last 2 years or so renovating that aircraft, trying to make it look as good as it possibly could, and it would have been soul destroying for them if it had ended up being cut up for scrap. So so I'm really, really pleased.
Absolutely. Yeah, well,
that's a good news story.
I'm just a little confused because I always thought you flew for Royal Jets.
Well, this is true, but now that Monarch Airlines is no more, I think I can probably safely say that they won't be suing me.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, okay. And if they are going to, they've got bigger fish to fry before they come anywhere near you.
Well, they can pay me before they sue me.
Oh, okay, all right. fair enough. Okay, we'll step away from that. Okay, yes.
So up
thanks,
next,
Val. Much appreciate that.
Yeah, cheers, Al. Micah, the next story is for you.
Yes, this is from Sky News, and it's pretty much good news, really. People who shine lasers at aircraft could face up to 5 years in prison in a new bill to be published on Wednesday. Offenders could also face unlimited fines under the safety measures being implemented by the Department for Transport, but should have their eyes gouged out by crows. Oh, I added that. Easily purchased online.
Seems harsh.
That's what happens when you read the story ahead of time.
Laser pens can easily be purchased online or on the high street. On the high street? Can cause eye damage and temporary blindness. Well, no, what a surprise. Under current legislation, someone found guilty of shining a laser pen at an aircraft faces a maximum fine of just £2,500. Well, let's everybody just do it then. The Laser Misuse Vehicles Bill will expand the types of vehicles covered under the law to include trains, buses, boats, and hovercraft, but not automobiles. Did you notice that? Police are warning that shining a laser at an aircraft or another moving vehicle is deeply irresponsible and dangerous. And they don't say that it's crazy, absurd, and really you should have your eyes gouged out by crows for even thinking about it, but nonetheless.
Indeed.
Commander Simon Bray from the National Police Chiefs Council said, quote, laser attacks can lead to catastrophic incidents. These new and robust measures send a clear message to perpetrators. Laser attacks are a crime and serious consequences will follow from committing this offense, unquote. The new laws will make it easier to prosecute people who shine lasers at vehicles, as it will no longer need to be proved that they intended to endanger it. If reasonable precautions are not taken to avoid dazzling or distracting a vehicle operator, it will be an offense regardless of whether it was deliberate or not. Aviation Minister Baroness Sugg warned laser misuse can have fatal consequences. She added, quote, the government is determined to protect pilots, captains, drivers, and their passengers and take action against those who threaten their safety. Pilots have been increasingly targeted by laser pens in recent years. With the first laser attack on an aircraft reported in 2004, there have been about 1,500 incidents in the UK each year since 2011, with 1,258 reported in 2016. Have any of you guys ever been hit by a laser?
Yep.
What's it? I mean, I assume it is. I know this. I don't mean this to sound so flippant here, but I assume it is as dangerous as everybody claims. You know, I mean, it is obviously clearly very bad news, because I mean, if nothing else, it must blind you for a moment just because of the light that's there. I mean, is there long-term damage?
There's the distraction side. So you've got that, what the flipping heck was that? Obviously the first time you encounter it, when you get a bit more seasoned to it, I think I'm up to about five laser encounters now. You obviously know what it is, so you got the distraction element, and that's not a good thing, obviously. And the other thing is, and I'm sure we've all done it, and indeed I did it earlier today, you temporarily blind yourself by shining a bright light into your eye, by testing a torch the wrong way, or trying to get the lighting to work in here so I don't look as if I'm in prison, that sort of thing. So you get, normally with torches, or flashlights, as you American people like to call them, you get that sort of temporary white blindness. Well, obviously a lot of lasers tend to be green or red, and they really leave quite nasty sort of visual after effects that can go on for hours, if not days.
Really?
They tend, fortunately, to be non-permanent, but obviously if you've got, should we just say disturbed vision for a period of time, it's not a great thing to have when you're trying to land an aeroplane.
No.
And there are some parts of the world where they are very, very common. Seemingly, Jeff was shaking his head, so I'm guessing. Well, actually, you don't fly at night, do you, Jeff? So that's going to be one factor.
Now.
Jeff, hello.
No, I do actually fly at night occasionally, and but I have not yet been hit by a laser.
Wow.
Yet.
Okay.
Because it's not so much at night as it's just early in the morning most of the time.
Well, actually, but if you've noticed my schedule in the last few months, I've been doing those 30-hour layovers, and those fly well into the night, that first night. But she's right, the early morning ones, especially this time of year, are definitely night flights as well. But maybe most of the laser perpetrators are
I think they're more
sound
night
asleep.
owls. Yeah.
Is it a problem in the States as well? I mean, it's not just a UK problem, I'm assuming.
Oh, no, it's a problem here.
Our friend Colonel Jeff was hit by a laser recently and had to take a few days off and see an ophthalmologist before he could fly again.
Right, okay.
So in the United States, is this sort of national legislation or sort of regional, as in sort of state legislation? How is it being treated? I mean, for the UK, they're coming down fairly hard, and quite rightly so, with prison sentences, which is, generally in the UK, you have to do something very, very serious to get a prison sentence. So it is being treated with a fair amount of severity.
Apparently, in Maine, they have drafted legislation to have your eyes pecked out by crows.
Right. Yes, of course. Yes. And I fear Micah may be heading the charge on that one.
It's all set.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's good.
No, the whole reason I picked this story to go in the show really was down to the fact that it is Christmas, and you can readily go online and buy these things for pounds, for dollars.
The big thing this year seems to be the big laser lights that hit your house. That seems to be the big thing this year. But presumably, not being funny, if they leave them on at night, say you get a gust of wind and the damn thing falls over, that could be pointing up at the sky for hours before somebody might actually realise what's going on.
Generally speaking, those sort of things aren't too much of a problem because they are what's the word? They have patterns that are moving beams. Whereas the laser pointers tend to be quite a targeted beam,
right?
So it's quite focused in one space.
Mm-hmm. I see. Yeah.
I think most pilots wouldn't mind having sort of Santa and Rudolph sort of on the side of their aircraft with a done by lasers
while they're flying along.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh no, I'm up to number 6 now.
Okay.
I've just been blinded by Micah.
Right.
I have to leave.
If it's not bad enough that the lighting is failing around me, now Micah's lasered me.
Oh,
so now I'm online,
well,
which I won't be
just as well you weren't on approach, Al.
Indeed.
Indeed.
Don't worry, guys. I was looking away from the screen. I'm still recovering from when Jeff told the joke about the new crow law. It was right as I was taking a drink of water. I almost took out my keyboard and everything.
Indeed.
This is just water.
Yeah.
No, that's the problem.
A few episodes ago, we had a guy on our show that was talking. He's running a thin film company, and the film that they make will filter out either green and blue or green and red laser, and they're planning on increasing that as the technology gets better and better.
Wow.
So
That's
And Captain Rick just posted in the chat room that he was hit a few months ago, and the police called him after because they were already after the perpetrator. So I guess there is some investigation going on.
Good. But this is the news. Of
Good.
course.
I mean, I had an incident. Oh, I don't know. I've had another incident now.
Oh dear.
I had an incident maybe about 10 years ago where I got lasered on approach coming into a fairly large UK airport, and they launched the police helicopter, and the police were able to catch the perpetrators because they actually then decided to laser the police helicopter. But it made it much easier for the police to work out where they were.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, that is
Brilliant criminals. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Not very bright, clearly. We're going to move on, if we may then, guys. It is time...
Feedback.
It is time for yet more feedback. So this time round, if he can press the right buttons fast enough, it's time to welcome the lovely Jenny in Rome and Richard Adams.
Hello everyone, this is Jenny in Rome. Just a quick message for the Christmas show to wish you all a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, or as they say here, Buon Natale e Felice Anno Nuovo. So thank you to all of you for producing a wonderful show and creating such a great other layer of interest to life for all of your podcast listeners and contributors. Bye for now.
Hi Carlos, Matt and Nev. This is Richard King and Imogen here, wishing you and all the PTUKers a happy Christmas and a happy New Year.
Don't mind our friend Jingle, he's pretty harmless.
Bye.
Oh, I love it. Sorry, that wasn't Richard Adams at all, was it?
Richard King, honestly.
Richard King. I love that little video.
That's because Matt didn't read his show notes. Anyway, moving on.
We know who you meant. We know who you meant.
But no, thanks for that again, guys. Very nice. It's always good. I love the video feedback.
With Jenny earlier in the year as well.
What's that? Sorry, say that again.
It was lovely meeting up with Jenny earlier in the year as well.
It was.
I'm yet to meet Jenny.
Over there in,
you're turning into sort of like the new Alan Wicker, really, aren't you? I appreciate you haven't got a clue who Alan Wicker is, but I mean, you get around a fair amount, don't you?
You can't say that to a 21-year-old. How rude!
Oh, bless him.
One minute he's in Rome, one minute he's in New York.
Oh, yeah.
Or we could say, actually, Al, we could say
working for an airline.
We could say he's the Judith Chalmers of the airline world.
Oh, nice, yes, he looks just like it. Yeah.
No, okay,
no,
way before your time, Owen.
Yes.
Yeah, this is gonna go.
Yeah, indeed.
So moving on
Okay.
to the next story reader, which is, if I bring up, who's next? Come on,
this is going so well.
I think it's me.
Owen.
I think you're correct.
Yes, Owen, it's you.
Indeed.
Who has read the show notes? Okay, so this is from Reuters.com, and it says Air Berlin pilots escape a fine for goodbye maneuver. This is in Berlin. The Air Berlin pilots who performed an unusual maneuver on the airline's last long-haul flight to Dusseldorf in October did not break any rules and will not be fined, the German Air Traffic Regulatory Agency said on Tuesday. The pilots of flight AB 7001 from Miami with 223 passengers on board made a low pass over the airport after aborting a landing on October the 16th, and videos of the move went viral on social media. One of the pilots told a TV broadcaster he wanted to make a farewell statement. Pilots are trained in go-around procedures for aborted landings, but the left turn over the airport performed by the Air Berlin crew was unusual, and so German aviation authorities investigated the incident. After examining radar data and voice recordings, the BAF, Federal Regulatory Agency for Air Traffic Control, determined that the pilots had asked for permission from the airport tower to carry out the left turn in plenty of time. The BAF came to the conclusion that the relevant permissions had been given from the point of view of the air traffic controllers. All the relevant safety conditions were met, the Federal Regulatory Agency said. Air Berlin filed for insolvency in August after years of losses, carrying out its final flights in October. Some of its operations in Berlin have gone to EasyJet, while Lufthansa is awaiting permission to take over its regional unit in London Gatwick. Administrators are seeking a new buyer for its Nicky Holiday airline business after Lufthansa scrapped a deal following competition concerns. But yeah, no, it just shows that there. Excuse me. It just shows that there are two sides to every story until things have really been properly investigated. The media are not always the best source for news.
I don't know
like
what
this.
you're trying to insinuate, Owen. How dare you?
I remember when his story broke and it was like the end of the world or something. You know? Like
How do they know that there wasn't a flock of birds on the runway and they had to escape the birds? I mean, you know, they're not going to be on radar.
No, indeed. It's just
I like the way you think, Al.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you do get
Nice try,
birds
Al.
on last flights. I mean, it can happen.
Yeah.
But,
you know, I mean,
but the fact that the air traffickers were all sitting in the tower filming it, going, "Ooh, wow!"
well, there's lots of birds during the course of the day. You know, they were obviously all set up. They were all ornithologists. They all had their cameras ready to watch the birds scaring. But it was mistimed, and the Air Berlin just arrived too soon.
Right. Okay, good.
There we go.
Good.
We had something similar.
Yes, just remind me not to have you on my side when next time I'm in court.
Yeah, indeed. Grant,
Do you not think that was a decent defence?
No.
No, okay. Grant, I think I heard you chipping in there,
Better
sir.
one for next time.
Yeah, look, we had something similar with the A350 was doing its route proving flights, and so that was when I was in Sydney shooting video for it, and so we're standing by the runway as it departs, and then we get the word, they're going to do a go-round. So they went and did a big circuit. It was all planned and organised in ahead with air traffic control, just like this one. And this big old A350 comes down the final, and hits the missed approach point. And sure enough, you could see the power coming in, the gear going up, and went straight down the runway and said goodbye. It was absolutely fantastic.
Wow.
And we were all there ready to capture it. I got a great photo out of it. We got some good video. And yeah, it was wonderful. It was all planned and all good. It's just like this one, you know. They had it planned. It's no biggie, but that one didn't make the news as like, ooh, scary, because it wasn't a slow news.
I think
day.
if you're doing a planned manoeuvre, you don't have the airplane full of passengers. I think that was probably the reason why this one hit the news.
Yeah, there's that. Okay. No, actually, the A350 had quite a few passengers on it, but most of them were staff, guests, media, etc. on the way.
Exactly right. It's not like they did a straw poll of the passengers on their Berlin and said, "Do you mind if we waz the tower on this trip?"
As you do.
I think most of them would have gone, "Hell yeah, let's do it."
Yeah, let's do
Yeah,
it.
they might have done, but there you go.
You'd like that on a BA flight, Nev?
Yeah, about time.
Yeah,
About time we have one there.
One of your flights of BA, that'd be quite nice. You buzz the tower at
Absolutely, yeah.
London City or something.
I'm sure Adam might have a view on that one.
Yeah. Maybe not Heathrow's tower, perhaps. That could open up
Hi, Adam. Hi.
A very angry can of worms. Yes, indeed. We're going to move on then, guys, if we may. It's time for some more feedback. This time, we welcome Barbara Parish.
Hello everyone, this is Barbara from England in the United Kingdom. To all the wonderful aviation podcast listeners and hosts, co-hosts and special guests from Plane Talking UK, Airline Pilot Guy, Airplane Geeks, Pilot Pip and Plane Safety, and all those hosts from Australia and Germany and all the others, a really big thank you for another fantastic year. And I wish you and all your families a very joyous and peaceful Christmas and a blessed 2018. May all your dreams come true, and I wish you all health and happiness, and that includes you, Taco. And here are some jokes to end. A man walks into a library and says, "Can I have some fish and chips, please?" Shocked, the librarian says to the man, "Sir, this is a library." The man replies, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Can I have some fish and chips, please?" The sergeant major shouts to the corporal, "I didn't see you at camouflage practice." So the corporal suddenly stands to attention, salutes and replies, "Ah, thank you, Sergeant." What do you call a deer with no eyes? No idea. What do you call a deer with no eyes and no legs? Still no idea. A newly trained air hostess has taken her first flight But after the layover, she doesn't show up for the return flight home. She's nowhere to be seen. So the purser goes to her hotel room, only to find her in floods of tears, sitting on the bed. And the purser goes over to her and he says, "Where have you been?" And the air hostess replies, "I couldn't get out of my room." So the purser says, "Why?" And she replies, "Well, one door led to the bathroom, one door led to the wardrobe, and the third door had a sign on the handle saying, 'Do not disturb.'" I love that one. Now the next joke combines both my love of dogs and aviation. So this is the last joke, everybody, so bear with me. A passenger puts his seatbelt on, all ready for takeoff, when a man walks up the aisle with a dog and sits right next to him. Confused, the passenger asks the man, "Why on earth have you got a dog?" The man replies, "Oh, this dog is a security dog and he works for this airline and I am his handler. In fact, mid-flight, I will show you what Barney the dog can do." They take off and the dog handler sends Barney down the aisle. "Go boy, do your work." So the dog sniffs about until he suddenly sits next to a female passenger, then comes running back, puts his paw on the dog handler's arm. And the handler says to the passenger, "You see that woman? She's in possession of marijuana." And the passenger replies, "That's a very clever dog." The dog is sent away again, walking up and down the aisle, sniffing, then sits next to a male passenger. Then comes running back and places his paw on the handler's arm. And the handler says to the passenger, "You see that man there? Well, he's in possession of cocaine." The handler lets the dog go again, and the dog is sniffing about up and down the aisles, when suddenly the dog sits very still next to a passenger, a few rows in front. So the dog comes running back and jumps up onto the seat next to the handler, and he just poos himself all over the seat. Shocked and disgusted, the passenger says, "What on earth is going on? Why has your dog just crapped himself everywhere?" Nervously, the dog handler turns to the man and says, "Oh gosh, he's found a bomb." Happy Christmas, everyone. Bye-bye.
Nice little story there.
Very nice, very nice. I've had to take my beard off, by the way. Sorry, that's what the distraction was, because it was. I've had to take my beard off because I can't breathe anymore. I'm sorry. So
yes, we've had beard interface difficulty.
Or shave.
Yeah, indeed. So I've had a very quick shave, and I've gone back to. I've left the outfit on. We'll see. We might put the beard back on towards.
Bless him. He was perspiring.
I
slightly.
was. Yeah, absolutely.
Slightly
It went
perspiring.
a funny colour. Yes,
Yeah.
indeed. No change there then.
So next,
because of us.
Yeah, probably. But we'll
so Mila, you've
Indeed,
got
the
the next
Mila.
story.
I do. I've got a story from USA Today, and the title reads, "Christmas Travel Rush, What to Expect If You're Flying." It's been written by Ben Motzabog, I think.
Okay, great. Yes.
So, all right. You'll have lots of company at the airport if you're flying for Christmas or New Year's. Airlines are preparing for a record of 51 million passengers for the holiday season, a 3.5% increase from the previous peak of 49.3 million last year. To accommodate the rush, U.S. airlines say that they're offering 91,000 more seats per day to meet the demand for flights from December 15 through January 4th. The busiest travel days, with about 2.7 million passengers each, will be Thursday, December 21st, Friday, December 22nd, and Tuesday, December 26th, according to the trade group Airlines for America. Here's what you should know if you're on one of them. New this year, as a requirement by the Transportation Security Administration, means that all electronics larger than a cell phone must be removed from carry-on bags from screening. Flyers will be required to place these items by themselves in bins to go through scanning. Eligible flyers selected to use the pre-check lines will be exempt, but all flyers should pack knowing that it's possible these devices might have to be removed for screening. Isn't that already the case in Europe?
Yeah, I think kind of the point of the story on this occasion is actually there. I know certainly with some of the airlines, because there is a concern over tablets and laptops, isn't there? Because there was an incident where one went up, I think, and I think it's just really that they've tightened. Certainly the US flying out to even to here, I think actually they've tightened the rules about where your laptop has to now be in your carry-on, doesn't it? It's not allowed in your It's not allowed in the whole baggage and things like that, isn't it? If it's got a lithium-ion battery in it, I think there's very strict rules. And I think the point of the story really was just to remind everybody, actually, if you are flying over Christmas,
and it's a busy time
of year, is to actually make sure
just think about this battery technology thing. I think we've all the manufacturers are trying to find a way of getting away from the lithium-ion stuff because of all the problems it's caused with thermal runaway, all sorts of things. And once they found a technology which is better than that and has the right level of capacity, I think we'll be in a much better place. We've just got this rather difficult interim phase, I would say.
Well, nobody really knows what to do.
No.
But
it's apparently Boeing is not one of those companies working to get away from it, though, is it?
How true.
Indeed. Yes. Scary stuff. Scary. Okay, so we have one more piece of final feedback to play, if that's okay with everyone. And this is from the lovely Jen Niffer and Glenn Towler.
Hello, aviation podcasters and podcast listeners. It's Jen Niffer here. I just wanted to say that it was wonderful to be able to meet so many of you this past year. Getting to meet you guys truly made 2017 special for me. So I wanted to leave this quick feedback to wish you all very happy holidays. And here's to a wonderful 2018.
Hello, Carlos and Matt. It's Glenn Towler here from New Zealand with some Christmas feedback. Just want to say thank you guys for doing such a great podcast throughout the year. It's always amusing, always interesting, and we always have a good time when I've actually managed to get into the chat room. It's not always easy to be there, but the most times I'm there we always have a great community going on with APG and plane safety and Amiga Tau, even when he comes and joins in as well. So all the best and Merry Christmas, and look forward to another year of great podcasting. Glenn out.
Oh, wow, that concludes all of the Christmassy messages we had from
we
everyone.
have one special message left, don't we? But,
yes, we do, actually,
indeed,
yes. It's a bit more of a story, though.
I'm the one reading the show notes, and he's surprised. Honestly, how rude.
I'm trying to keep up with the chat room, that's why.
Well, yeah, good luck with that. Okay, so we have one last story, and I believe it's one of those top 10 things, isn't it?
Yes, what's this one, Al? Hello, Al?
Al? Captain Al?
Yes.
Coming in, Al, yes.
What's this top 10, Al?
Nick having the... I'm sorry, mate. I'm having a bit of a cough here.
Get that man a hot toddy.
Indeed. So who's on duty with the top 10? Are we all doing it? How's it working?
So Al's going to announce what this particular top 10's about. So come on, Al.
Okay, all right, here we go. Then it's a story from time.com, which I believe is an American publication. And it says, it's a familiar scene around the holidays. Thousands of stranded passengers milling around the airport waiting for the next flight out. While those winter blizzards are certainly a major, if unpredictable, factor in grounding of flights, the worst airport for flight delays, cancellations this holiday season is actually Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International in Georgia, according to research from InsureMyTrip.com. I don't think recent events will have changed their opinion, really, will it? Anyway, they go on to say, and that according to Insure My Trip, 2017 marks the first time in 5 years that Chicago O'Hare doesn't top the list of airports with the most flight cancellations. Weather was the top reason for cancelled flights in 2017, accounting for more than 45,000 cancellations this year. But ground control and the airlines themselves accounted for more than 30,000 cancellations too. So here is the list of top 20 airports with the most flight cancellations thus far in 2017. So, are we all ready with the music?
This is your top 10 for this week, and in at number 10, Captain Al.
It's JFK in New York, where even the cabbies don't know how to get there either.
In at number 9, Mila.
It's Fort Lauderdale.
At number 8, please, Owen.
This is Orlando.
Number 7, please, Micah.
Just 100 miles down the road from me, it's Boston with 2,541 cancellations this year.
At number 6, please, it's Rob Mark.
Someplace other than Boston. I don't know where to
Okay. It's Newark.
Just say Newark.
Just say Newark. Okay. At number 5, please, Brian Coleman.
The airport that should be scraped and start over again, New York's LaGuardia Airport.
Right, okay. In at number 4, please, Grant McHerron.
That would be SFO, San Francisco, which has Brisbane just outside it, but they call it Brisbane.
Right, very good. Okay, Dr. Steph, it is number 3.
Number 3, George Bush Intercontinental Airport in Houston, Texas.
At number 2, please, Captain Nick.
It's the place that Dr. Steph needs to run to because there are so many flight cancellations. It's Chicago.
And finally, it's top of the charts. It is number 1, Captain Jeff. Where the power's not there.
The best airline in the world and the best airline pilots in the world. ATL, Atlanta International.
Well, that's because they
canceled. We actually got
but we need to see the percentage, though, because the number of operations of the top 2 far exceed any of the other ones.
Numbers are just numbers, though, to be fair. I mean,
numbers.
Who cares
The other thing is why there's so many of the world's best pilots there. They're sitting on the ground waiting to go.
The other thing that I noticed here is that I can only see up to 12, but when you add those 2, that's LAX and that's Dallas. Now, it doesn't list Miami. I don't know where that comes in, but every major U.S. international hub is listed there. So, where do you fly to? You don't have
Charlotte.
Choice.
Charlotte.
Yeah, Charlotte. But you don't want everyone going to Charlotte, though, do you, to be fair, Dr.
For
Steph?
American and Philadelphia, again. So, it's the big U.S. hubs that are listed there.
Yeah, but all 3 New York trifecta of awful airports are there.
Right, good.
So basically, if you're traveling to the United States and you avoid New York, San Francisco, Fort Lauderdale, Los Angeles, Dallas, Chicago and Atlanta, you stand a fair chance of getting to where you want to go.
Right, okay, yeah. The options are limited, but nevertheless, yeah, absolutely.
You'll have a wonderful time in Nebraska.
Yeah,
This is why you fly Norwegian and get to a completely different airline.
Well, I was going to say, is this the time now where you announce your new sponsorship deal with WOW, who fly direct to Pittsburgh?
Right,
Wow.
Wow.
Hey, could you imagine if WOW decided to go supersonic and got in with boom? So you'd have, and then there was an old 80s band flying on it. So wham, wow, boom.
Right.
How long did it take you to look at that?
How long have you been thinking that one up? He's the king of wit, and he's full of...
What would their theme song be? Let's take off so we can go?
Right, okay. Anyway.
God.
Oh, dear. Okay. You're right there.
Oh, okay.
It is time to welcome some more feedback, and it wouldn't be Christmas if we didn't have a lovely message from someone who frankly doesn't celebrate Christmas. But anyway, it is time to welcome the main man, Micah.
A Christmas calling in 3, 2, 1. Some of you may remember me telling you of a unique Christmas tradition I follow every year. Sure, it's crazy, but if you heard my story, A Christmas Fish, you know that for the past decade, I stop at a McDonald's and pick up a Filet-O-Fish sandwich every Christmas Eve. If you haven't heard that story, you can find it on the 2016 Plain Talking Safety Towel Crazy Airline Pilot Geek Spectacular Christmas Extravaganza live. Now in that story, I mentioned that I have another long-standing Christmas Eve tradition, one that's been a part of my life far longer than my Filet-O-Fish sandwich ritual. It's a special phone call I've made every Christmas Eve starting in 1976. Let me explain. When I entered my undergraduate studies in Ohio, during my first 2 years, school closed down for the Thanksgiving holiday in November, then reopened for 3.5 weeks until the Christmas break. For people like me, who were enrolled from out of state, this made life very difficult, as the dorms closed down for 4 days and local housing wasn't available. For my junior year, the university administration finally came to their senses, and the 1976-77 academic calendar scheduled a 6-week winter recess. The fall quarter ended at Thanksgiving, and winter quarter began right after New Year's Day. It also turned out that at the beginning of fall quarter 1976, I met Beth. Now let me tell you a little bit about Beth so you can understand this a bit better. Beth was beautiful. Beth was smart. Beth was sweet, and she was nice. What can I say? Beth was simply wonderful. Come to think of it, she still is. I was enamored with her. Frankly, everyone was. In some ways, I still am, and that's no secret to anyone, including her husband, Dan. Somehow, Beth and I became almost instant friends. I mean, she and I never dated. We're never really involved. Actually, I'm not sure why, but nonetheless, we were special friends. During the fall quarter, we would talk every day, sometimes at lunch and dinner in the dining hall, sometimes with friends, sometimes alone, sometimes on the phone. We were just very close. At the end of the quarter, at Thanksgiving, school closed down, and I went home to New Jersey. Beth went home to the Toledo area. Now for the rest of the story, you have to think about the technology of the times. Based on today's standards, there was a lack of what we would now call connectivity. It was 1976. There were no cell phones, no text messages. Home computers hadn't come about yet. There was no internet, and the idea of email was still science fiction. Most homes had a landline, and there were still party lines. And no, I'm not talking about 1-900 numbers. Those were still in the future, too. Long-distance phone calls, and by long distance, I mean even calls to the next town, could cost a small fortune. A small fortune, you ask? What do you mean? Well, we're talking in the neighborhood of $3 for the first 3 minutes and 25 to 50 cents a minute thereafter. With those kinds of costs, people just didn't call long distance to talk on the phone very often. Remember, back then you could get a large chocolate bar for 10 cents, and a case of beer was less than $6. By December 24th, 1976, it was over 4 weeks in the winter break. I'd found a job selling electronics, and although busy with and enjoying my work, I missed Beth. I mean, we were close to inseparable at school, and by now, we hadn't been in touch for almost a month. I was sitting at home on Friday night, Christmas Eve 1976, and it was about 10 p.m. I knew Beth would be going to midnight mass with her family, and figured the odds of her being home were quite high. I decided to chance it and picked up my parents' big black Western Electric wall-mounted kitchen telephone and dialed her number. Yes, I dialed. I didn't touch a screen or even push any buttons. I used a rotary phone and dialed the number to Beth's parents' house. Sure enough, someone answered. Remember, back then, there was no call waiting, no caller ID, and not even any voicemail. Answering machines were a luxury, confined to offices, and they were few and far between. I told whoever answered the phone who I was, said it was Micah, a friend of Beth's calling from New Jersey, and asked if I could speak with her. You should have heard the commotion over the phone coming from Beth's parents' house. This was a long-distance call, something very meaningful back then. Someone rushed Beth to the phone, and we talked for about 20 minutes. Not enough time for either of us, but it turned out I'd interrupted Beth getting ready for midnight mass. When we were back at school together in January, we talked about how we both enjoyed that phone call on Christmas Eve, and that did it. The next year, during winter break, I called Beth again, the night of December 24th. The following spring I graduated, and Beth was busy with her senior year when the next fall quarter started. We didn't talk much at all that year, but I did call on Christmas Eve and we caught up. The next fall I went back to Ohio for grad school. Beth had graduated and left campus, but our Christmas Eve phone calls continued. I don't think we saw each other again for a couple of years. I kept in touch with her through her sister, who was an undergraduate, but Beth and I always talked on the phone every Christmas Eve. The next time I saw Beth was at her wedding. Along with a few of my friends, we traveled to Toledo and had a great time at one of the best and most fun weddings I've ever attended. Beth married a childhood friend of hers, who I'd never met, but I did know both his younger brother and sister from school. The first time I met Beth's new husband, Dan, he and I were already good friends. The reception was fabulous. I danced with Beth, I danced with her sister, I danced with her friends, and I even danced with her mother. Come to think of it, I'm pretty sure I danced with Dan at some point too. Wow, it was a fun party. After the reception, the party continued at Beth's parents' house and went on until the wee hours of the morning. I felt a little strange calling Beth the first Christmas Eve after she was married. I mean, I was now calling a married friend and might be interfering with new Christmas traditions. It turned out my trepidations were unwarranted. Beth was happy to keep our old tradition as part of her new ones. Over the next few years, sometimes Dan would answer the phone, say hello, and then hand it to Beth, knowing this was something special for both of us. Beth and I would almost always talk for an hour or more. It was simply magical, and we would just pick up the conversation where we left off, catching up over what happened during the past year. A couple of years later, Beth came back to visit me at grad school. She was pregnant with her first child, and I was never happier for her. It was the first time we had been together in person since her wedding. And by the way, you know how people say pregnant women are beautiful and have this amazing glow? Well, I never really understood what that meant until I saw Beth that day. Christmas Eve phone calls continued. I moved to Colorado, and Beth and I weren't really in touch other than on Christmas Eves. After a few years, Beth's son Sam would answer the phone. And a few years after that, it was Sam's sister Sadie who would get her mom for me. I moved to Maine. Beth, Dan, and family moved to Cincinnati. Sometime in the early 90s, I was in Cincinnati for a conference. Dan and Beth came downtown to meet me. I was looking forward to seeing them both. But Dan, knowing the special relationship Beth and I had, decided to go run some errands and give Beth and me the opportunity to visit on our own, just like back on campus. The Christmas calls never stopped. Sometime in the late 90s, Beth came to Maine for a conference. We got together for dinner, and a marvelous visit. Now remember my story of the Christmas fish that I mentioned at the beginning? It's a story about another of my Christmas traditions that came about through a last-minute 300-mile Christmas Eve drive from Maine to New Jersey because it seemed my father would pass that night. Well, even that drive didn't stop Beth and me from our Christmas Eve tradition. I called her from the car as I was driving, and we spoke for about an hour. Some things have changed over the years, though. Dialing a wall-mounted rotary phone became voice dialing Beth while driving down the highway. But technology isn't the only thing that changes with time. Eventually, I lost my folks, and Beth lost her father. Sam and Sadie grew up and moved out of the house. They're both doctors now. Sadly, I've never met them, but still hope to one day. Life went on, but nothing kept Beth and me from our Christmas Eve phone call. Then a few years ago, Beth told me something that made talking to her on Christmas Eve even more special than it always had been. It made it magical, really. I didn't quite understand it at the time. Not sure I fully understand it now either, but nonetheless, it really touches me deeply when I think about it. Sam and Sadie came home for Christmas that year. They both got in on Christmas Eve a bit later than usual. When I called that evening, after they had arrived, Beth told me that when each of them got home, one of the first things they asked when they walked in the door was if I'd called yet. Although neither had even met me, never talked to me when I called, they both wanted to be there when I did. I was a bit surprised and asked Beth why they'd care if I called or not, or whether or not they were home when I did. That's when Beth told me something that I suppose shouldn't really have surprised me, but still just knocks my socks off. Having grown up in a house where I would call their mother every Christmas Eve, Micah's phone call was a part of both Sam and Sadie's Christmas tradition. It just amazes me that Beth's grown adult children both expect and look forward to a phone call made to their mother each December 24th. A call from someone they've never met, yet someone that apparently has been important to their Christmas celebration all their lives. So a few days from now, I'll be calling Beth. This time it will be 41 years of always talking to one another on Christmas Eve, never missing a year. We'll pick up where we left off, like we were just talking yesterday. It's something I'm looking forward to, and something that means a lot to me. Maybe if the conversation leads to it, I'll let her know that I've shared our little tradition with all of you. I'll let her know about you, my friends from all over the world, and how I wanted you to know what Christmas means to me. And maybe, if there's time, I'll read Beth this little story so she can know how special our Christmas calling is to me. But you know what? My guess is she already knows. For the Plain Talking Safety Towel, Crazy Airline Pilot Geek, Spectacular Christmas Extravaganza Live 2, here in Portland, Maine in the USA, this is your main man, Micah.
Very nice.
You know, it's safe to say.
Nicely done.
Safe to say, it wouldn't be the Christmas show if we didn't have a story from Micah, would it?
No, indeed.
No.
Thank you very much for taking the time there,
Yes.
sir. Always a pleasure.
Call you.
Thank you all very, very much.
Yeah, nicely done, Micah. Superb.
That was
Wonderful.
wonderful.
Well
Indeed.
done.
Actually, Micah, while we're here, I have some presents here that came back with me from New York that I've just handed to our the two people here in the studio. So I wondered if I could persuade you to sort of encourage them to open them.
Well, that would be great because I've got these and I got something for each. Well, actually, there's 3 items there. I don't know what exactly you did, but there was one specifically for Neville.
That's right.
And one specifically for Carlos and one for whoever wants it. And
Yes.
you should open them up and take a look at them. They weren't necessarily Christmas gifts, but Matt was kind enough to wrap them up and present them today because it was the first time you'd be together. So take a look and see what you think.
Oh, nice.
So there we go. Right. So while they're
I
gonna,
can't tell you how awkward this feels. Like I said to you earlier.
I know.
Because it's not Christmas Day and
Oh,
I'm opening
shush.
a present.
Shut your face. Come on.
Gemma's not watching.
Yeah, but Hanukkah's over, so think of it as Hanukkah presents and Christmas wrap. How's that for you?
Go on, you start.
Go. Okay. Yeah. Here we go. So
Who wrapped
Any day
these?
is a good day to open a gift.
my mum.
That's why I thought it was so good wrapping.
Right, okay, indeed, absolutely. So here we go. See, it's not Christmas if you haven't got the rustling of paper, you see. Come on. Any time today, Carlos, we are on the
What you wrap
schedule.
this up with? Oh, wow, look at that.
Oh, look at that.
With the
Superb.
Mustang on there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there
Look
we
at
go,
that.
look. So that is a Flying Legends.
Hold on.
There we go.
Check
Look.
it out.
Yeah. So what's this all about?
Thank you, Micah. Uncle Micah.
Micah,
What you might like that.
Yeah, indeed.
And I'm opening mine now, as you can probably hear, but I'm having some difficulty with it. But that's okay. Oh, look at this. How about this? Now, this is fantastic. This is from the Smithsonian National Air and Space Museum, Milestones of Flight, the epic of aviation with the National Air and Space
I seem to recall you've actually been to that museum.
Yeah.
I thought you might like that after your visit there, Ned.
Certainly, and thanks ever so much indeed, Micah. That was really good, and it will bring back great memories of my trip there. So thanks ever so much indeed. Really kind of you.
So I have gifts for you as well.
That's my Christmas Day sorted, Micah.
Very good. Right, excellent. The wife will be thrilled. So I have gifts for both of you here as well. Now, which ones have you got? Your one there? Yeah. So I think. Nev, perhaps you should go first. So these are from Santa. I probably should have put my beard back on really for this, but there we are. So these are from me. These are your actual Christmas gifts. So don't get too excited.
But it felt like a Ron Jeremy DVD or something.
Did someone?
It's a little
Did someone say Ron Jeremy?
Yeah, right. Okay. There we go. Yes. Okay. So you know how we're always wanting to improve our ability on military. So what I've bought Nev for Christmas is it's a dictionary of RAF slang. There we are. Now, obviously,
what?
Indeed.
Tally ho.
Was there some jolly good banter?
Yes,
It's,
indeed.
forward by Captain Nick Anderson.
Yeah, indeed. Quite right. Yeah, absolutely. Indeed.
I would hope so.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh yes, there's some. I can't actually read many of these.
Oh, can you not? Oh, really? I didn't realise. I didn't realise it was a naughty book.
But yeah, thanks ever so much, mate. Very, very
pleasure,
nice.
A pleasure. So that's a way of we're determined to get better at the military thing next year. That's our target.
Does it say there's a bogey on your nose?
Yeah. Probably.
No, but there's a lot of
50
words.
more shades of grey, the military aviation.
There's a lot of words beginning with D in there, and it's not dictionary.
No,
Right.
that's right.
Okay. Okay. Right, Carlos, your go, please.
This is kind of scary.
Yeah, you should be afraid. Now, Captain Nick, I think you're going to really appreciate what I bought Carlos last week when I was out shopping in Norwich.
I'd appreciate it more if you bought it for me.
Well, no, I don't know if you would, to be honest.
Kind of scared because I'm sure I'm seeing an Ann Summers logo on here.
No. Family show, please. Family show. There we go.
Oh, look.
Oh, look.
Yes. So there we go.
There we go.
So we'll wait until Captain Nick sees this on the old YouTube feed. But I
don't get to find out till then.
Yeah, indeed. So basically,
is killing him.
What I have bought, Carlos, is the Airbus A380, a history book.
Nice one.
You know, so a nice quality aeroplane. I thought it's about time he learnt
well
about.
done.
Yeah, absolutely. So
It should be the Airbus A380. It's history.
Hold on.
Lose friends quickly.
I've just
The only
opened
reason
a
I really
book.
I've just
the only
opened
reason I really like
the
the Airbus A380 is because it has a forehead like mine.
Cancel a reservation in the name of Nielsen, okay?
just turning to the first page, it just says press button here to end book.
That is not what it says at all.
Self-reading book.
Do you know what?
By the
Some
way,
people
nice
are
one,
very
Micah.
ungrateful about
It's
their
read
Christmas
by
presents.
wire.
Right, okay.
Have you got time to open your a couple of presents there by any chance, Matt?
Okay. Do I have to do this in any order?
Doesn't really matter, whichever order you think.
Okay, all right. Well, I always believe in starting small and working my way up to big.
Christmas
There we are.
So there we go. Indeed.
Bite
Here
your
we
teeth,
go.
Al.
Yeah, I beg your pardon. What have you got there?
I've got a present.
Oh, you have, right? Okay, so here.
Oh, what's he got?
Okay, so I it's a shame it's not blue actually, but yes, so
spanner.
I have an actual spanner, which is very exciting.
But in fact, it's a 32 gig USB stick.
Is it? Oh, now that's very civilised.
That is awesome.
Do you know what? I thought it was an actual spanner.
That is awesome. You can use it as that.
There were some jokes. There were some jokes in my head about tightening
Please
nuts,
do,
but
yeah.
I thought I'd walk away from that.
Here we go.
Okay, hang on. Are you going next? Are you?
I'm opening this little one here.
Okay.
God, Nev's done it.
Any time to.
Nev's done it up with.
Actually, I have to say, Mrs. Nev did the wrapping. Here.
Did she? Right. Yes.
Lovely
Yes.
Sue.
Quality,
Sue.
As you'd expect.
Indeed.
Here we go.
Absolutely.
Oh, look at this. Oh, here we go.
Oh dear.
That's going in the TriStar van. There we go.
What does that say there? Oh, it's one of the flight tag
Remove
things.
before flight.
Right, okay, yeah.
But the best part of this tag, which
here we
I
go.
shall show you all on here,
Yeah.
is the back of the tag.
Right.
This is obviously the best part of the tag, and obviously it's something you all should know.
Oh, for goodness sake, what have you done, Nev?
Well,
it says
you know.
L1011 on it, for
The
goodness sake.
TriStar, that is the future
I
of
thought
flight.
they'd, like, gone. Anyway, right, okay.
Well, that's
My go
def-
again.
that's
My go
definitely-
again.
Does that tag for the L1011 say removed from flight?
Yeah, there's a typo on there, I think.
Yeah.
There's still one flying, I think.
Oh, is there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is there actually?
Isn't that the
Yes,
one
there
that,
is. Thank you,
launches
Jeff.
the,
Yes.
The space rocket things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I like it. Hang on, wait.
Hold on.
Yeah.
What's that saying?
Hang on, I'm going to have to open the bag. Hang on.
It's a T-shirt.
Hang on, it's a
T-shirt.
T-shirt.
It says Ann Summers on the
No,
pack.
it doesn't say Ann Summers. What is it? Are you having troubles at home, Carlos? I mean, you seem to be keep mentioning.
Are they the new show sponsors?
Oh, look at this! Look, there you go.
No, I will not fix your computer.
Oh.
There we go. I like it. Yeah, indeed. Slightly appropriate after tonight's start. It has to be
I
said. But
thought
anyway.
so.
Dare I
There we
open
are.
this?
Thank you.
Dare I open this parcel?
Please
now?
do.
Yeah, indeed.
Oh.
Thank
Right,
you.
here we go.
Yes, I feel really bad because nobody else is opening presents.
I've got a.
I didn't know we were exchanging gifts.
Yeah,
It's a box. It's a box. What's in the box?
We could have done a Secret Santa.
We could have done a Secret Santa. We should have done actually.
yeah.
We'll think about that for next year. Here we go.
Oh, it's a,
Right.
it's a
Oh,
bit,
hello. He's got a piece of cardboard, ladies and gentlemen.
recycling that because we're going green, everyone.
Okay. Are we? Right. Okay. Thank goodness.
Oh wow! Look at this, guys. Now this is what every aviation enthusiast should have.
What is it?
An aeroplane.
Yeah, obviously. But what is it? But what is it? What is it? I'm guessing it's a TriStar L1011.
It is,
Yeah. Right,
and
okay.
it's been made on. It's like a plate as well.
Oh, cool. Oh, wow.
It's a bit of tin.
That's going to go
That's
into your
going in my office.
Indeed,
Yeah,
absolutely. Okay, so
Thanks very much,
thank
Nev.
you,
You're
yes,
welcome.
absolutely.
But that's not just any bit of tin. That is actually from the toilet bowl of an L1011.
Indeed. Okay, so Right, I forgot.
Now, wait a minute, Al. You know, we've got a former L-1011 pilot here.
Oh, have we?
Exactly, yeah.
That's okay.
Captain Jeff.
Oh,
Okay,
of
great.
course.
Look what happened to
God,
it.
is there nothing?
And that's why Jeff is the most amazing person in the world.
Right. Okay. All right. So, but you see, the only
That's got to be it.
The only thing is, you see, what I seem to have learned is basically any aircraft that Captain Jeff, has been flying has basically been retired. I mean, what does that say?
That is true, or about to be.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's like the Mad Dog is next on the list, I fear. But oh dear, never mind. Okay,
put him to rest.
Dear, sorry. Okay, so, ladies and gentlemen, we have a very, very special... Sorry to talk shop for a moment. We have a very special Nev's Passenger Experience.
Oh, Nev, come on.
Now,
spill the beans.
Do you remember I said that was the last one we did the other week was the last Nev's Passenger Experience of the year? Well, it's not quite, because we're going to do a special one.
We are.
And we've got
an ultimate one.
Well, that's it. So we've got a whole new series of stuff coming up for 2018. But you know how I tend to introduce and interview my industry colleagues.
Yes.
And that's all very well, but they're not very famous, are they? And no one knows who they are, and it's God, not again. Yeah. So I thought I would,
except for the lovely Liz, of course.
Well, that's right. Yes, but I mean, apart from our listeners, but when I interview my industry colleagues, I mean, they're all very nice boys and
nice
girls,
people.
But, so I thought I would try to interview somebody different this time, and I went all the way to Munich to interview her. Hello everyone, and welcome to a very special Christmas edition of Nev's Passenger Experience. Well, I've always wanted to ask someone famous about their flying experiences, and the opportunity came up for me to interview Melanie C, formerly of the Spice Girls, but now having her own very successful solo career. I was always fascinated about the kind of trips that people like Melanie would take and how it affects them, both the positives and the negatives. I caught up with her in Munich just before one of her gigs called Night of the Proms, and she very generously gave me a few minutes of her time to talk a little about the flying that she has done. I began by asking Melanie, when the Spice Girls were at the height of their fame, how many flights per year she took.
In the height of the Spice Girls' fame, it would be hard to calculate how many flights we took. It had to be hundreds a year, I reckon.
Were these on commercial flights or on private jets?
We did a mixture of travelling commercially and on private aircrafts. It really is quite a wonderful way to fly privately, but obviously when you're doing the big journeys like across the Atlantic, we'd usually travel with BA or Virgin.
Who chose the airlines that you travelled on?
Usually, I mean, even now, working as a solo artist, I still tour and work internationally. It's pretty much dependent on, the timings, what's going to get you there at a good time to leave the UK, obviously, price. So, it would vary depending on that.
Have you got a favourite airline?
When I travelled with the Spice Girls, we spent so much time away from home and in lots of foreign countries. So whenever we stood or got on board a BA flight, it always felt very much like we were already home.
What was the size of the whole crew when the five of you travelled together?
It really varied how many people would be travelling at the same time. If it was a big tour, there'd be lots of people. Sometimes we'd actually use big jets of sports teams. I've done that on the road with the Spice Girls in America in the past. But yeah, sometimes it would just be security representatives from the management. Other times it'd be family and friends, hair and makeup artists, stylists. It can really vary quite a lot.
Were you able to protect your personal life? I mean, did you have massive numbers of people waiting for you at airports for your arrival? Were you like the Beatles?
A lot of times. I think if your arrival is announced and people know you're going to be in a certain city for a certain concert, then there would be a lot of fans at airports. It was a wonderful time being able to get tarmac arrivals and departures, which is always nice. When you're really at that level of fame and success in the music industry, there's a lot of security around you, and it's quite different to travelling as you do on your holidays.
Are you afraid of flying at all?
I've never been afraid of flying. I've been in some very small aircrafts. I've been in some pretty hideous turbulence. I've been lucky enough to never have a very scary situation happen to me in the air. But yeah, I'm quite a cool customer when it comes to flying.
What about jet lag and general fatigue? Did that ever affect you?
When I had my time with the Spice Girls, I was in my early 20s and we were really tired and we had to get hardened to the travelling and the changing of time zones. But I've found as you get older, all of those things do actually become a little bit more difficult. So I'd say it's probably more tiring now to travel.
When you were with the Spice Girls, did you have preferential treatment at airports, for example? Did you get special clearance through customs and immigration?
I think often when there's a lot of commotion at the airport are very keen to get you out of the way. So, you know, there is like lots of VIP treatment that you will get going through customs and immigration. But, you know, and then other airports take it very differently. So, again, it varies. I think it really, a lot of the time, it depends on the safety of not only, you know, yourself and the band, but other people who are also using the airport.
As a VIP flyer, what was the most fantastic experience that you ever had?
The most fantastic thing that ever happened to me flying, I was leaving New York on a first-class flight, and I was asked at the desk as I checked in whether I'd like to upgrade to Concorde, to which I replied, "How much will that cost?" And they said, "Oh no, it's a free upgrade." So I got myself on Concorde, bless Concorde, R.I.P. Concorde, and I got on it for free-ish. I got home a lot quicker.
Well, thanks very much indeed, Melanie. Really appreciate your time today.
See you soon, Nev.
Well, I'm really grateful to Melanie for agreeing to our interview, especially seeing as she had been on the road for 3 weeks with just the occasional trip back to the UK to see family. For our UK listeners, you can also hear her live on BBC Radio 2 on Christmas Day, starting at 4 p.m. with her own show. The regular Nev's Passenger Experience segment resumes in 2018, and in the meantime, may I wish all of our listeners a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Find this and other great shows at the Aviation Media Network.
thevoicesinyourhead.com.
The Plain Talking UK podcast is a voluntary project that aims to keep you informed with the latest aviation-related stories from newswires across the globe.
Producing our content does cost money though. If you enjoy our show, why not help us keep on the air by making a donation towards the server and website hosting fees through PayPal. Any contributions would be greatly appreciated.
Are you an Amazon user? If so, why not do your shopping through the link on our website? There's no cost to yourself, and Amazon pay us a small referral fee on qualifying purchases.
To find out more about the show and to meet the team, take yourself to our website www.plaintalkinguk.com,
or find us on Facebook at facebook.com/plaintalkinguk, on Twitter via @plaintalkinguk, or get in touch via email on podcast@plaintalkinguk.com. Thanks for listening.
Flybe 5823, Trent Dane for 23R Manchester, Wizz Air 6X, climb flight level 210, direct to Bretlands Park. United 123, maintain 280 knots. London 2TME, turn right onto Bravo, link, 21 join Alpha, hold at Mora, Speedbird 472, LOC/DME, approach runway 27 left, follow the green stand 544.
That's enough air traffic control for today, Nat. Bedtime.
Have you ever wondered what it would be like to fly a commercial passenger jet? Looked up at the sky and thought, I wish that was me? Well, now anyone has the chance to have a go at flying in a real aircraft simulator. NP Simulations and Flight Experience London, the only official Boeing licensed product of its kind in the UK, offer you the chance to fly anywhere in the world in their fixed-base Boeing 737-800 flight simulator. And that's not all. Ground School London offers many different courses for the up-and-coming pilot looking for a start in aviation. With prices starting at just £109, the sky's the limit. So for the ultimate flight simulator experience, or engaging preparatory courses, including those for schools and colleges, check out the websites at www.london.flightexperience.co.uk and www.groundsschoollondon.com, or call on 020 300 40 616. NP Simulations. Fly your dreams.
For your chance to win some fantastic prizes, all you have to do is answer these 7 questions. What date was the first Boeing 747 rolled out of the Everett Assembly Building? What year did the Airbus A300 make its maiden flight? What was the world's first airline to use an aircraft in revenue service? As of 2017, which airline has the world's largest fleet of commercial airliners? Which airline called itself the world's friendliest airline and painted a smile on the nose of its airplanes? Which 2 nationalised airline corporations and which 2 regional airlines were merged to form British Airways on March 31st, 1974? And what year was Ryanair founded? And what aircraft did they first fly? So for your chance to win these amazing prizes, send your answers into podcast@planetalkinguk.com. That's podcast@planetalkinguk.com. Best of luck.
There we go. We've had loads of entries for the Christmas competition so far.
Yeah. Can we just go back to the fact that Nev just interviewed Melanie C, for goodness sake?
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Wow. Skipped over that, didn't we?
She was Sporty Spice.
She was Sporty Spice. She was actually my favourite of all the Spice Girls, if I'm honest. You know,
apart from Matt Caton.
What? No, Matt Caton wasn't in the Spice Girls.
But he said she was third.
I know,
favourite.
absolutely. Yeah. No, actually, no. What he actually said in the chat room was she was his favourite after Jerry.
And,
you know, and you just think so. It's like, all right, so third favourite then. Right, nice.
There were a few people in the chat room who kind of thought, huh?
Yeah.
Who?
There were a lot of people who went, who the heck is Melanie C? But anyway, there we are. We all us Brits knew who she was. So Nev, bravo.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, well done.
It was great, wasn't it?
And, good job.
Wikipedia and indeed, the internet generally are available to help those uneducated individuals.
Indeed. Yeah. Do you know the bit that I liked the most at the end there is where it just went, see you soon, Nev.
Yeah.
I thought, hello.
just keeping the options open.
Of course, absolutely. Yes, indeed. Yes, it's
I always thought that a Spice Girl was someone who was mixing up the curry in the back for me.
Right. Indeed. Family show.
I mean, where can you go from there, Nev? I mean, who's going to be next on the list?
You've set the bar a bit high, haven't you, mate?
I'd probably have peaked a bit early there. So I think what we've got to do...
Trump?
I've got some...
Donald Trump?
No, we're not doing that.
Oh, no. Can you imagine?
But yeah, I've got a couple of others lined up, so we're going to see how we get on. But no, we've got a new series starting in the new year. We've got a couple already recorded, and but yeah, I'd like to get a couple of other famous people on there.
I mean, I've got a friend who's a clairvoyant. Maybe we can get like a little hookup, and you can sort of interview Orville and Wilbur Wright. That would be quite sensational, wouldn't it?
Oh boy. Okay.
Wow.
Right. Yeah.
Actually, a little birdie says that you've got a possible NPE segment with a certain wife of mine.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, that's going to be recorded shortly. Yeah.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
Yeah, so when you've gone to work tomorrow, Carlos, I'll
Indeed.
give her an interview.
Actually, Lane's just made a good statement in the chat room. Lane says they're all Old Spice now.
How dare you? I like Old Spice personally. Yeah.
But Matt Caton's more of a brute guy.
Right. No, of course, absolutely. Quite
or
right.
Brut.
Yeah, no. Yes. I must admit, I did love that series. Do you remember the Old Spice ad that they ran, which was a gentleman on the horse and all that kind of thing? It was just that whole crazy thing. So I'm rather partial to Old Spice.
I thought that all of you Brits wore English leather, or you wore nothing at all.
I'm sorry. What was that about leather?
Where's the signboard? Where's the signboard?
They didn't have that cable TV and there, Micah. I've told you about that before.
Yeah, indeed.
English leather has a whole different connotation around here, mate.
Indeed. Oh, hello. What on earth?
Oh, that's an improvement.
Sorry, yes.
No, that's Vader. That's one of the Storm.
Yeah, but I haven't got
blokes.
Yeah,
Storm
indeed.
blokes.
He's the guy I got to salute, you know.
Yeah, well, that's
an
true.
Improvement. So stick with that.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
good.
I thought you might like that one.
Yeah. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, look, it's time to start wrapping up. It's been an awful lot of fun.
No military news?
No, I'm sorry about that.
Yes.
No.
We've done it 2 weeks on the trot.
Yeah, we had to.
Got the ball rolling now.
We had to have the Mel C interview instead. I'm
yes, I'm sorry. We opted for a Spice Girl instead. Yeah. I'm afraid.
A totally different shade of grey.
Yeah. Oh no. Okay, but enough about Al's hair. I've told you he's very sensitive about it. There it is.
Actually, to add to that, Tony S is saying in the chat room that this is officially now longer than an APG episode.
Oh no!
We're doing really well.
And we didn't have
Congratulations.
Thanks very much.
And there's one more thing. I see that you guys have like those green paper rolls on the table. Are those like Christmas crackers?
They are Christmas crackers. Yes, absolutely.
We're gonna pull. We're gonna pull them.
We don't have them here
Disney
in the
Dynamite
Netherlands.
sticks.
Yeah, we like them. Yeah. Are we opening them? Hang on.
And I just really want to see you open them.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
just-
Here we
if
go.
you just-
3, 2, 1. Hey!
Okay.
Hey!
Good.
We've all got a toy
Excellent.
each. Oh, what we got? You got to look what you got, Matt. You got
And
to
a
look what
terrible
you
joke.
Yeah.
Hold on,
Yeah.
we've got to tell the
we've got
jokes.
Christmas jokes. Yeah, we've got to
Oh.
tell the Christmas jokes.
Oh, God, no.
No.
Actually, I'm running short of material, so this is going to be really...
Oh, it's a fortune-telling fish. The ones that are funny in your hand.
Okay, I've got a
Right.
hat with mine. Shall
Plain
I?
Talking UK, the only podcast that gives you pressure sores.
Okay, that's highly offensive.
Well, I noticed that the Plane Safety podcast was 2.25 hours last time out. Give us a break.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, no, it's amazing how much we can spin that out for, isn't it?
Yeah,
Completely
just the
unrehearsed,
two
you
of
know?
you.
Yeah, yeah.
God,
Okay,
talk
so
about blather.
Here we go,
Kicking
quickly.
off.
This is the Christmas jokes very quickly.
Go on then,
far
Matt.
away.
Go on then, Matt.
Okay, so I've chosen the wrong camera now. You would do that to me, wouldn't you? Okay, so the question is, what happened to the man who stole an advent calendar?
Oh, God.
He got 25 days. Boom.
Oh, hold on. Sorry.
He got 25 days. Very good, Carlos. Well done.
Okay,
Yeah.
here we go. What is Santa's favourite pizza?
I don't know. What is Santa's favourite pizza?
The one that's deep pan, crisp pan, even.
Oh!
And as usual on the Plain Talking UK, we have spared every expense with these crackers. My joke is as follows. What is Santa's favourite pizza? One that's deep pan, crisp and even.
I think I've heard this.
Deja vu.
You couldn't make it up, could you?
Wow. Okay.
Deja vu again.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay.
I knew you were going to say that. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sure we've met him before.
Yeah, indeed. Look, guys, it has been so much fun here. We're just going to run very quickly round the house. Captain Al, what are you doing for Christmas, sir?
Well, I'm obviously an unemployed pilot, so I shan't be doing very much.
No, okay.
Fortunately, I've managed to sort out something for the new year, so I shall be enjoying Christmas Day with the family, which is great. I shall be knee-deep in Lego, no doubt, cursing the wretched stuff when I stand on it after a few glasses of wine.
Indeed.
And raising a glass to my former colleagues.
And a jolly good
Well done.
idea that sounds as well. The lovely Mila, what are you doing for Christmas?
Well, here in the Netherlands, we have a thing called Serious Request, which is a week-long charity event for the Red Cross. And they do loads of things to just raise money for the Red Cross. And I'm going there tomorrow with my mother.
Oh, lovely.
So we're going to have a lot of fun.
Fantastic. Yeah. Okay, good. Owen, what are you doing over the festive period?
Well, I'll be spending Christmas with you, Matt.
Right, well, no, that's true, yes. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It's pointless me asking that one, I know already. Yeah, no, fair point. Yes, okay. Yes.
No, but other than that, I've worked pretty close to Christmas, so I've got a Christmas Eve and Christmas Day off. But everything around that is pretty much is pretty much work.
Yes, so hence the reason why he's spending Christmas down here rather than going home, because we're not having Owen on his own on Christmas Day, because that's just not that's just not okay as far as
that's
we're
not
concerned.
cricket.
No, indeed.
It's probably worthwhile pointing out that under the new EU flight time limitations, Christmas Day is actually only 24 hours starting and ending at midnight.
Right. Okay.
And next up,
it's that Micah. Obviously, I know it's not a holiday to which you. I mean, you do participate, but it's obviously it's more Hanukkah presumably for you,
I've
isn't
got
it?
some things going on, like I think on Sunday night I'll be making a phone call. There's no doubt about that. And but before that, I've got a pot roast ready to cook, and that I'm going to set up for Christmas. And then, just to go along with it, I need to have some Klingon food for Captain Nick, and I'm going to make some kasha varnishes as well.
Some Klingon.
Some guff.
Kapla. Good.
Need to wipe that screen now.
Yeah, indeed, absolutely. All equipment that is contaminated now. The legend that is Rob Mark. What are you doing over Christmas? Anything nice?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, headed to Midway Airport tomorrow night to pick up the daughter coming in from LA, and she's going to spend a week with us. And of course, want to borrow all kinds of money.
Of course, absolutely.
Of
course. As all children wish to, of course.
Yes. How old do they have to be before they stop asking parents for money?
I don't think it ever stops, I'm afraid. Sorry about that.
Doesn't stop.
No. No. I'm 40 and I still ask. No? Okay.
My mum and dad got back at me. I was 30 and they asked me for money.
Oh right. Okay. All right. It's a role reversal. Mr. Coleman, the legend that is, what are your festive plans?
I am going down the road a little bit to Huntington Beach and going to pretend that I'm in Australia and have a nice sunny Southern California Christmas. So it should be about 75 degrees, so 24, 25 degrees for the rest of you guys that can't tell temperature properly.
Hey, now look here. How rude. Couldn't help yourself.
And so enjoying some sunshine and some beach, hopefully.
Indeed. Awesome. Good. And on the subject of down under and warmer climes, the legend is Sir Grant of McHerron. What are your festive plans?
Well, yeah, we're doing an orphans Christmas, so we've got a whole bunch of friends and all that who aren't with family or things like that coming over because we're not going anywhere. So Miss Kit has been cooking up a storm, and another friend will cook up some more, and we'll all make a bit of fun. But for using the proper way of measuring temperature as opposed to that weird, furlongs and fathoms, it will be partly cloudy and approximately 22 degrees is the forecast, so nice. 22 Celsius.
Yeah, very nice.
Bit of southerly winds taking the edge off, so we're going to have like 20 to 30 kilometre an hour, that other metric thing, kilometres an hour winds. Exactly. So, around 10 to 15 knots of winds from the south. So that's going to keep the temperature down a little coming off the Arctic
Comfortable.
Ocean.
Good. Dr. Steph, before this turns into some kind of meteorological special,
let's move away from that.
Indeed. What's the what are Dr. Steph's plans? I always get nervous asking people who work in the medical profession this question, but what are your plans over the festive period?
Well, I have a very sensible job within the medical field, so I will not be working, fortunately, but certainly thinking about all of those who do have to work on the holidays.
You're not going to volunteer to do a stint of Christmas Day ER then, just to refresh your skills in that field?
I'm afraid not this year. I'll consider it in years to come, but no, I'm actually looking forward to just having a nice long weekend, not doing any kind of crazy traveling, spending some time with family and friends. So nice and quiet.
Sounds like a perfect Christmas. Captain Nick, other than recovering, obviously, and returning to your sick bed, what is Saint Nick doing over the festive, other than delivering Christmas presents, of course?
Well, that's obviously a very busy time of the year for me, but by Christmas Day I should have it cracked.
Yeah,
so, I was due to land on Christmas Eve, and I've actually had to bin that. So if you were expecting any presents, boys and girls, tough. Christmas morning, I'll have both sons here by then, and various hangers on. It's going to be toasted brioche, scrambled egg, and smoked salmon for breakfast with champagne, and then Bucks Fizz while we open the presents, and then we all play with presents, and Julie plays with the kitchen.
Okay, right.
And
Seems fair.
she cooks up the full 9 yards. It'll be 3 rounds of wine, 3 courses of food, and then we all go and flob around the house until it's time to walk the dogs. In which case, we'll do that.
I changed my mind. I think I'm coming to your house.
Yeah, I was going to say, Owen, I think our festive plans have changed. I think we're going to Captain Nick's house.
3 o'clock is, of course, the Queen.
Of course, that's
round,
true. Yes,
as
obviously.
Every good British gentleman should.
Yes, she should be on my telly. I should be standing to attention and everything.
Absolutely, Your Majesty.
That's what she said. Well, that sounds lovely. And of course, the legend that is Sir Captain of Jeff. What is it that you're doing over Christmas? Anything nice?
Well, I'll be spending it with you, Matt.
Oh, excellent! Please do.
No,
Absolutely.
I'm sorry.
No,
I was looking at the wrong calendar. Yeah, I'm on vacation through the end of the year, and first trip leaves on the 2nd of January, and all my children are home from school. Lovely. So everybody is home right now, so I'm going to spend Christmas time going to church and engaging in all the Christmas festivities with my family.
Sounds lovely.
Oh, nice.
Sounds really nice. Sir Nev, now I heard a rumour at dinner that you might be going somewhere cold,
Yes.
where they're threatening snow on Christmas Day. Actually,
Possibly, yes.
Yeah,
those
indeed.
nice people at British Airways are taking me and Mrs. Nev
to
Edinburgh.
Oh dear.
And of course, it's just going to be all
Good
fun.
luck with that.
There'll be no delays, no ATC, funny business,
no.
straight in. That'll be it. So yeah,
Well, there'll be no ATC, so
they all be down the pub, won't they? like they usually are. But hopefully, if they're not down the pub, we will be taking off on Christmas Eve about lunchtime and coming back on Boxing Day the 26th. So we're just going for a couple of days over Christmas. But for the first time ever, actually, we've both been away at Christmas together, which will be quite nice.
That
So,
sounds
yeah,
really
looking forward
nice,
to that.
actually.
Yeah.
That sounds really nice. Carlos, what are your plans?
Oh, Christmas Day, I'm having my mother over for Christmas.
You're
Time in a
cooking for-
long while.
Wow, very cool.
We've got Mum coming over for Christmas. And as I'm in my new job that I have now, I don't have to go back to work during Christmas, which is lovely. Which means I shall be slobbering around the house in my onesie.
Oh dear, you have a onesie.
Yes.
You're no longer my friend.
And I shall be just lazing around, really. And
sounds good.
Yeah.
Sounds like the perfect Christmas.
On behalf of me and Matt and Nev, we want to thank everyone for joining us this evening for the show. It's
so
been
much fun.
really,
Thank
really
you
great
so
to get
very
everyone on the
much.
show
Yeah.
again for the Christmas special. It's been a good fun, hasn't it, Nev?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. And so, been my first time here in the Barn Studio. And it's a brilliant place. It really is. Really enjoyed being here.
Barnstorming.
Certainly, yeah, definitely.
And we're going to say a massive thanks as well to all the YouTube viewers who've been watching us since we started.
Yeah, absolutely. Which was a very, very long time ago now.
Which was a long while ago. So thanks to everyone like that.
2
and
days
also,
ago.
Also
so
a
long
bit-
ago that I've now
hours.
retired from aviation on their pension.
And also not forgetting as well all the guys and girls who download the show as an audio show via iTunes and all the other relevant podcast
Suckers.
Yeah, I'm going to go buy some extra bandwidth so my phone can download it.
Right.
So that is where we bring episode number 196 of the Plain Talking UK podcast to a close. Massive thanks. Have a great Christmas. Have a great New Year. Take care and all the best to everyone who's watching the show. And well, that's it. So
from
everyone
all of us, everybody, all here online, it's time to say Happy Christmas, everyone. Bye bye. Happy Christmas.
Happy Christmas.